Why do I always segue into the Rainbow Road theme? It just got the same kind of beat to it, I think. But yeah, I should put on some music. Hello, Razir. Welcome. Hello. Oh, I was supposed to be down. Yes, hello, welcome. We are doing something special today. As I mentioned last time, we will be... it also, is the music good? Is it balanced correctly, or do I have to turn the music down? Because I can turn the music down. If it is like overpowering the words that I am saying with my mouth. It's good. Okay. But yeah, hello, welcome. As I said last time, this is something that I wanted to do and have been wanting to do for a while. We're going to look at all of the Mega Man Classic and Mega Man Battle Network designs, and we're going to compare them. I have 3, like, major criteria and 1, like, minor one. That criteria is, 1, is this design good? Like, in a void. Like, is this a good design? 2, is this design a good adaptation of the classic design? Like, does this work? 3, does this have... You do exist to my southeast. Hello, Courtney. Glad you could make it. 3, do I like it? Well, that's the 4th one. The 3rd one is like, does this feel like a Battle Network design? Because those are my 3-ish main criteria. Because there's a lot of interesting, like, artistic stuff that goes into designing the Robot Masters and designing the NetNavi equivalents of them. And I just think it's neat to go over this sort of stuff. And I will note, I will have a guest when she is available. Without further ado, we should probably begin. And of course, we can't not begin with our boy. It's Mega Man. Yeah, we're doing a tier list thing, and also just going over the designs and comparing them, because I think it's neat. So here we have our boy, Mega Man. Good ol' rock. Nothing beats rock. I think very easily that this is a perfect design. I think this is wonderful. You can see the parts that are clearly... can you even see my mouse? I don't actually know if you can see my mouse. You can! Nice. Yeah, Mega Man, you can see the bits of him that are clearly inspired by the classic design. You can see that he looks more internet because he has, like, a jumpsuit. And this is something that I genuinely didn't really notice until Qwerty brought it up once, but many of the NetNavi designs have this tapering look to them, where, like, you will have a sudden oomph of like, an ankle, or, well, no, this is not an ankle, this is, like, the mid foreleg, I guess? And then it tapers down a little bit. This is more obvious on the more mechanical designs, but it's neat. It is a neat touch. It's also a thing is that, like, every NetNavi has their own special emblem. Yeah, original Mega Man design is very 80s, and it's a good look. It's very Astro Boy. Yes, all of my girlfriends live south of me, because I live at probably one of the most north places you can get. But yeah, Mega Man Classics got that Astro Boy look, very, very much like he is a kid. Given the plot of Battle Network, Mega Man himself, the Mega Man.exe, he looks like a regular kid, honestly. It works. I also like his emblem. His emblem is very simple. It is two shapes. I really like the emblem design that all the NetNavis have. Each have their own unique one, and I just think that's a really clever design element of them, personally. But yeah, as far as designs go, I think this one is pretty up there. I think this deserves to be S tier, maybe? Maybe? Like, it's a simple design. I don't, like... I don't go like, this is amazing. But maybe not S. Maybe not S, because I don't think it's super amazing, but it is perfect as, like, a baseline. This is the baseline of what NetNavis look like. Yeah, Mega goes in A. After Mega Man, we have, of course, his sister, Roll, in the classic series sister, anyway. Roll has multiple designs. I went with the most modern one because I think it's the best, personally. I like her cute little shoes, and I like her dress that has, like, a hoodie. That's cute. As for Roll in the NetNavi wise, okay, also hold on a second.
Hello.
Hello, it is Robin. Robin is here.
I'm here to offer an additional opinion on designs
Yes.
that I don't really have qualifications to judge.
Robin, you are an artist. You have every right to have opinions on these.
I do love to have opinions on things.
Yes, and again, you're an artist, so, like, you've got your brain attenuated to this sort of stuff.
I guess so.
I would
Hello.
say so. But yes, hello, Robin.
I don't know if I need to have any screen share, if I can just look at the stream itself.
You can probably just look at the stream itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we are now on Roll. We did Mega, and that's an A tier design, I think, because it's very cromulent, it's very good. It
Yeah.
gives an
I heard you
example.
say that's like the baseline, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, which, I mean, yeah, he's the main character. Of course it's the baseline. It's one of those things where, like, the main character can't be too bombastic, because otherwise everyone else will look weird in comparison.
Yeah.
They have to be more extreme. Now, as for Roll is an interesting case in that in the Mega Man series, There's always a Mega Man, and there's not always a Roll. There's arguably no Roll in, like, the Zero series, for example, though CL could probably count for that, maybe. But, yeah.
There are a variety of girl in Mega Man
That's
times.
true. That's true. Roll is very girl. She has I really like the fact that her ponytail looks fake. Like it is an accessory that she has equipped to herself.
Yeah.
And it's a genuinely very cute look, I think. It has a bow. It has the same color bow that Classic Series Roll has.
Oh yeah.
We can't see her symbol.
Same hair color too, like exactly.
Yeah, exact same. We can't see her symbol, but it is a heart. That's a cute symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And I think perhaps the weirdest part of this design is that this Roll is meant to be a bunny.
Cite your sources on that one.
She has a little plug bunny tail.
Oh yeah, it's like very obscure.
You basically never see it, and I'm pretty sure no one who has ever drawn Roll remembers to, like, put it there. The halo is meant to be like her bunny ears is the thing, Corby.
Something about this halo that I'm noticing and thinking about is, like, in her in-game sprites, I feel like it is not as much a complete circle. It looks more like horns or something almost.
Yeah, it does look more like ribbons than the art here.
But let me double check something. If you look at, okay, it's not that similar. I was wondering how similar it was to the bunny virus, like, ears.
Yeah,
It's not that similar.
Not quite. Although it does have, like, the little circuitry hole at the end there. Each end.
The rabbit ones are more like just big arches. They don't have a single hole at the end.
Yeah, the bunny viruses have, like, an electrical coil for ears, whereas Roll has, like, magnetic tape, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
So
Roll...
here's my thought on this design. It's basically, what if Mega Man was girl?
Yeah, basically.
Like, it's another very, like, I don't know if I want to say simple, but, like, it's not a super complicated design, and it's very similar to Mega Man EXE, but, like, pink and, like, a little more feminine in general with a couple of accessories attached.
Yeah.
This is like HRT timeline stuff going
no,
on here.
That will actually be in the future.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But I think, based on, like, this is basically Mega Man but girl, I would say probably B or A if we're putting Mega Man in A.
Yeah, the other thing about Roll that we don't see yet, but we will see in the future, is that she also gets associated with bows a little bit, where, like, instead of having a regular buster, she shoots arrows.
Okay.
Which gives her kind of,
also,
like, a Cupid-y theme.
Is this entirely based on, like, just the design and not anything related to, like, game mechanics or what they do?
I would say this is purely on design because, like, game mechanics, she is the girl character. It's not great.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than a lot of games, honestly.
I mean, like,
but
mechanically speaking, she does an attack where she teleports to someone and hits them and then heals you by throwing a heart at you. It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Or have anything to do with being Roll.
Yeah, no, that doesn't.
I mean, I guess if it did have something to do with Roll, she would, like, kill you with cleaning supplies or whatever, which would, I don't know if that would be better or worse.
Honestly, that is a modern thing that they have done with Roll. I feel
well,
like...
you say modern, but, like, she's existed in older fighting games, and, like, even in the Mega Man cartoon, like, which was...
Cordy, this is Mega Man Battle Network 1, but I will put up 2 as well once we are out of music, basically.
The Mega Man cartoon, while not kind towards women in general, I believe it's somewhat misogynist in its behavior and portrayal of Roll.
Yeah.
From what I remember. She does still use, like, cleaning and cooking stuff as weapons.
That's... yeah.
So it's not exactly modern?
Yeah,
I mean,
not really.
There's a part where her arm cannon turns into a toaster and she says, "You're toast, mister," and she kills Cutman with toast.
My god, that's...
Is this good for women or not? I can't tell.
No, it's not, but it is funny.
But it's funny.
It is at least funny. But yeah, I would say Roll gets to be A as well.
Alright, I would say, like, are we ordering within tiers?
I'm not ordering within tiers.
Okay, then I guess...
They go in when they
I guess
go
A is fine. I'd say A or B.
I would say that she is low A, though.
I would maybe even consider having Mega Man and Roll in B, like, both of them. Because B for baseline? I don't know.
You know, actually, I like that. A is a little higher than...
The thing about tier lists is that you have to remember that B doesn't mean bad.
That's true, that's true. B is in the middle, it's the baseline. That makes sense.
When I made a tier list of all the Splatoon music, because I don't know why I did that exactly, because I like Splatoon, I guess, and it was fun. Like, the only tier that I thought was really, like, stuff that I actively disliked was D, essentially.
I would say the same. That's the same intent that I have for this.
My criteria for C was mostly like, it's fine, it's okay, it does its job, it does what it's intended to do, which is like, that's a little bit different for music and character design.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can use a little bit of the same idea.
Perhaps, I think so. Now for next, of course, we've got Rock, we've got Roll. Those are the two main ones. Next up, of course, would be Blues. It's time for Proto Man.
Ah.
Now, I do think this is an incredible design.
Mm-hmm.
We can see some of the tapering in the mid leg and the mid arm that I mentioned. It's got a nice look at one of the swords, the really bulky and weird swords of Battle Network that I actually kind of like.
They're pretty neat.
They have a nice vibe. We see his symbol, which is just like a lightning bolt of white and black, because that's Chowd's hair. We have...
Can I object to the pronunciation of Chowd? I don't know if that's correct.
Okay.
Is that how they say it in, like, some sort of actual media
So
somewhere?
here's the thing. In the Quickman scenario, there is a moment, I forget the context, where they bring up the word chow with regards to, like, food, and then they were like, hey, speaking of which, where's Chowd?
I wonder...
There's something along those lines. And I hate it. I genuinely hate it. I don't want to call him that.
I've assumed it was, like, Chod.
I always called him Chowd in my head. Or Eugene if I'm feeling rude.
I think there is a high chance of that being a weird, like, lost in translation pun, or just general weirdness in translation, because the Battle Network games have that.
Yeah, they do. It almost certainly is. Also, yes, QWERTY, that is true. The swords that replace hands are standard, but they are so clunky and toyetic that it's like, how would you ever use this, actually? But I kind of love it. I think that's fantastic. It gives a Saturday morning cartoon vibe to Battle Network, which I think is actually kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say, the lack of a scarf makes me upset. Proto Man.
I think the hair is the substitute for the scarf in this design.
The scarf is definitely being represented by the large ponytail. I also think the way they do the sunglasses is very good. Like, the sunglasses, those look cool. I think that Proto Man's very cool helmet design being translated to a literal spike on the top of his head is the worst thing they could have possibly done. This design is perfect basically up to the forehead. I dislike the funny spike.
Well, here's something I'm noticing that is related to the funny spike. This design is doing like a lot of stuff with like accent colors and like shapes, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the spike on top of the head matches like the spikes that are on both like the top cuff, I guess, of the boots.
Yeah, I
but
would
also
call that
like
a cuff.
the toe area of the boots.
It does.
There's like a bunch of...
It kind of takes the Proto Man helmet design and applies that to all
everything.
Of him?
Yeah, there's like, it's a little bit in his logo too, even though that's kind of obscured in this image.
Yeah.
You could argue that the sword is also a spike. His hair also has the spikes. Yeah. There's like a very cohesive, but like a little bit subtle, like bit of accent design to this.
Yeah.
And just like the way the colors are distributed is also like a good use of accent color in my opinion.
Yeah, and you're good at accent colors. You are fantastic at that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I also like that, as befits the NetNavi aesthetic, his jumpsuit is like two-tone, whereas the other ones we've seen have all been kind of one-tone, I think.
They've been like two-tone, but it's been two shades of the same thing, and this is a larger contrast.
Yeah.
Which is probably like fitting to the character of Chod and Proto Man, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think this character design also like tells you some stuff about the character's personality in a way that's more... Well, I guess you could say Roll's character design also did that because her personality is that she's the girl one.
She's the confident girl, whereas Male is the more shirking Violet type.
Male also seems fairly confident a lot of the time from what I've seen.
That's true. That's actually very true.
But I would say Proto Man is at least A.
I would say so as well. I think the horn, the spike, just makes him unable to go to S. But I do.
That's fair.
I do like him as A.
I think the spike is goofy, but it does at least work with like the theme of the design.
Yes, it very much does.
So I can't like completely hate it.
Yeah. Other things I do like about his design, just as like an end bit, he's got like a vest on with popped shoulders.
Yeah, that's also an example of the spikes, but I didn't realize it looked like kind of like a popped collar almost.
And
he's so cool.
Yeah, and I feel like I will say, Cordy, you're correct. The spike does work better in the battle sprite, because in the battle sprite, it looks more like an antenna that makes him feel like a common rider.
In the battle sprite, he's like leaning forward a bit, so the spike is pointed more towards you in kind of like a threatening battle stance way, and it works better.
Proto Man is always meant to be like the common rider-esque side character, and they really capture that well with Proto Man's design here.
I bet they could have made a side game where you play as Chod and Proto Man. It would have been pretty neat.
I am baffled that they did not, especially because there would be a lot of actual room to experiment with the sword mechanics, because...
You know, I bet they would have if they made like a Battle Transmission 2 or whatever the platforming one that's kind of jank is.
Mega Man Battle Network Transmission, yes.
Yeah, if they tried to make a second one of that, I bet there would have been like a Proto Man as like a equivalent to playing as Zero in Mega Man X or something.
Yeah, which would have been very funny given who shows up in Network Transmission. But we'll get to there. One day.
I don't remember much about Network Transmission except that it's mostly jank, but it has cool music in it.
It has really good music, and it has the first instance of Mega Man X content in it.
Oh, can you play as Proto Man in Battle Chip Challenge in 4.5?
You can, but you're not playing as Chowd, and 4.5 doesn't really have a story necessarily. But you can play as Proto Man in that. You can play as almost every NetNavi in the game in 4.5, and it's
I see.
I will also say I like how Proto Man looks as a comparison to his rival character Mega Man.
Yeah.
Mega Man.
He's got like the red versus
guy.
blue, red Oni, blue Oni, all that stuff going on. Except like he's the relatively more serious one, so they're kind of the reverse of that trope.
Yeah.
Personality-wise.
Now, of course, we go to the last of the original series main cast. We have Battle is My Forte, Bass. Now, I don't have any art of Bass under the cloak, because most of the art that shows him under the cloak also shows him wielding ungodly magical superpowers, and I don't want to show that off, because I want to focus on the design itself and not the aura of him glowing with extreme power. Because if we showed him like doing some of his like serious action stuff, it would be too weighted on the side of this is obviously S tier. Now that being said, this is obviously S tier.
Well, hold on a second. This is basically just Bass with a cloak on.
Yeah.
This is the least different EXE.
Yes. Now I will note, for those of you who are curious, what he does have under the cloak is a standard NetNavi like jumpsuit with no armor at all. And
well, yeah, get in the way of the cloak.
Yeah, and his symbol, and we'll get to why he does. And I don't want to spoil too much stuff, but his symbol is blank with a giant scar over it, because he's got a giant, like, glowing scar in his chest.
Mm-hmm.
And aside from that, he's basically just a normal NetNavi with Bass's helmet.
He's just Bass with a cloak and different shoes.
You're right, but also I think that this is a really good look still.
I mean, I do love a cloak.
Yes.
So I can't hate it too much, but I don't know about S is all.
That's entirely fine. That's completely my bias, because Bass is my favorite character.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to know...
like, it depends on, like, I guess designs don't have to be super different.
Yeah. Also, he does change, like, halfway through the series. Cordy is correct. There is a update to his design that gives him a bit more armor and stuff. Now,
I see.
Here are my selling points for Bass.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way his helmet looks is very good.
Yeah,
I like how
it does look a little bit different.
Yeah. I like how he has the purple lines, like original series Bass. And he is the only character in the entire series whose design incorporates an organic-looking material. Because that cloak's not... I don't know if it is canonically not digital, but that cloak's not digital. That
is an interesting point.
Everyone else's designs look like they are artificial. Roll's ponytail, for example, is clearly artificial. If you were to look very closely at the hair coming out of Mega Man's helmet, it's all very spiky in, of course, anime hairstyle, but it doesn't look like... but it is got this vibe of not being real hair. No character in the series has organic, like, material like that, except for Bass, who has that cloak, which is tattered and mysterious. I think that's very
interesting
cool,
point.
and it really emphasizes the mystery of Mr. Bonus Boss over here.
That is a good point that I didn't consider.
Yeah. We have just been talking about that, QWERTY, in fact. I did not notice when you posted that, but I was in the middle of talking about that. It's super cool.
But yeah, I guess my only point against him is that he's basically the same design. Like,
yeah.
He's the most similar to the original, and like, that's not inherently bad, but I don't think it makes him like a standout.
I do agree with that. Like, I do, if I were to take a step back and look at this objectively, You're 100% correct. So does that mean we put him in B? Or does
you're allowed to add some bias. You can say A if you want.
I
A
will
or
say
B is probably fine.
I will say A. I feel like the design really fits the role, because originally in the first game he was just a bonus boss, and then in the second they build him up as like, oh, this is something that's actually quite serious. And
also, like, now that I think about it,
in 2 as well.
It's a little bit weird that is what Base does in Battle Network, because like in Classic he's kind of just like a guy.
Yeah. I guess there was this vibe of trying to, like... Are we out of music for Mega Man Battle Network 1? Yes, we are. Hold on. He has this vibe of being, like, this super-duper ominous bad guy in Battle Network, and that's just not what he is in the original series at all. Which I think is interesting. Interesting to play with him on that, like, in that way. Also, as QWERTY is pointing out, he's the only character who just kind of shoots at you. He uses his gun. That's basically it.
That is interesting, but I think we're not taking mechanics into account, right?
We're not really. It just is interesting to think about.
It is interesting.
I think mechanics are important insofar as how they inform the character, and, like, as you said, Roll's mechanical identity in the game exists, whereas Base's has a bit more weight to it. With Base done, it's time for, perhaps, the most tragic of these. Because it's time for Glide. And now, you may be wondering, those of you who aren't incredibly obsessed with Mega Man, who is this man with the rose, and why is he here, and why does he not look like anything out of the Classic series? And that's because he's not from the Classic series. Glide is from Mega Man Legends. Specifically, he's from Mega Man Legends 2. And this is a weird one. So, Yai's character design is inspired by one of the island people from Legends 2, and Glide is also a character from Legends 2, and they decided that her NetNavi would be Glide. I don't know why they did, but they did it. So Glide in Legends 2 is he is a recurring mini-boss nuisance man. He is like the Bone family, where he is...
I think it's Bon, probably?
Yeah,
maybe?
They pronounce it Bon. I feel like it's meant to be Bone, because they're skull...
Tron-Bon, it rhymes.
Yeah, Tron-Bon.
It can be skull related without sounding like bone. You don't say Tron-Bone. You don't say Tron-Bone either.
That's true.
Unless we're gonna start calling them the trombones or whatever.
But yeah, Glide is a sky pirate, and unlike the Bon family, he's not a good person. He's just kind of a jerk, but he gets beat up a lot. And instead of little Lego men for his servants, he has little birds, little bird robots.
I see. And the rose is also there.
Yes, because he's a dandy, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck did they do to Glide? Why did they do this?
They made him a dweeb with no personality or relevance to the story.
Why have they done this? Here's the worst thing about this. Glide's design's not terrible, like, as a NetNavi. He's got an interesting hat. The little diamond shapes on his suit are at least, like, interesting.
I mean, this sounds like you're
reaching.
Scrounging for, you're reaching, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. He's got an interesting hat, I guess. You know, like.
Yeah. Look,
I don't have the. I don't have the context for Legends 2, but like just looking at him, this definitely seems like a downgrade instead of the intended side grade.
Yeah, it's very
He's
much a
not
downgrade.
he's not like cool or particularly interesting, and something about like the hat and the wings just looks kind of goofy,
Uh,
and like I just happen to know that Glide is barely relevant.
he has also the weirdest shoulders. Why is they like this?
I mean, that's just like I think those are like sleeve like
I guess.
that's sort of like Shrine Maiden like shoulderless sleeve type situation going on there.
Kind of. He's meant to be a
And like
butler.
it does kind of match a little bit the original with like the shoulder plate like setup.
Yeah, the
a little,
shoulder plates that look like they're Sky Marshal, like fancy. I can't remember the name of them. There's the shoulder pads, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, also he
Epaulets,
has wings.
maybe?
He has wings, and basically no one else has wings. And generally, you don't need wings to fly in the internet. You just have to be able to fly.
Is epaulets the word you're thinking
Epaulets,
of?
yeah, that's actually exactly it. But yeah,
Like he's trying to do some of the stuff that I was like complimenting Proto Man for too, with like the different like there's like a shape that is frequently represented in this design, like on his like legs and boots there, on his like torso, in his logo, sort of the shape of his hat and wings and all that. But I feel like it just doesn't work as well.
it really doesn't. Also, hello, Yiza. Yes,
Hello,
we are
Isa.
doing the character design comparison of the Battle Network Net Navis to their classic, or in the case of Glide Legends, counterparts. And Glide's trying and failing.
I thought it would be fun to be here to offer like my perspective as not like a Mega Man super fan, and also I guess I have design and art credentials.
Everything you said about Glide's design has basically been like some of the smartest shit I've ever heard.
What do you mean?
You're just really good at talking about this particular sort of thing.
I just said he had the same shape everywhere, and he looked like a dork, basically.
I mean, yeah, but still, that's accurate. Giza wants to be in the call too. Okay.
Alright.
Hold on a second, let me find where I left that window. Here it is.
Wow, I'm here again.
Yeah. Where is Giza? Here is Giza. So, where are we putting Glide?
Well, going on my my idea of C being like it does its job and like it's fine and I guess that's all right. I don't think Glide gets to be C even. I think Glide is D tier.
I agree. I very much agree.
Because like obviously you very much dislike this design and like this is your tier list.
I think the most annoying thing about Glide to me is the
like I think another way to put all this is he has a completely different vibe. Like Mega Man, similar sort of vibe, like cheerful heroic type.
Yeah.
Roll, similar sort of vibe. She's the cool one. Proto Man, he's the cool one.
Yeah.
Etc.
Also,
Glide went from being like hello Isa. Glide went from being like James Team Rocket to like I don't know,
I'm a butler.
some random side character in Pokemon that's a nerd.
Yeah. Here's the thing that bothers me the most about Glide. The idea that Lan's friends consist of nice girl and her spunky sidekick, kind of a bully-coded dude and his punch robot, the local rich kid, and her former criminal-turned-butler. That's a cool idea. That's a cool, like, set of friends. And instead, Glide's just Dude.
Yai and Glide are protagonists of an entirely different anime.
Yeah, why are they here?
Yeah.
For me, the thing about Glide is that he's got about the most generic design of any NetNav you're going to run into. And he's also not got a personality.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's a character who... he's based on a character that I know nothing about. And so he feels significantly less notable than Gutsman or Roll.
Yeah.
And on top of that, his hat makes him look like a doofus. Also, his main color is brown, which can be a really good color. Like, it works on the Mega Man Legends Glide.
Yeah.
But this one, it just...
It looks like a combination of bronze and gold, which just feels weird.
It doesn't look like bronze, really.
There was less of that sort of black and then mixed in with the white. I don't know.
Yeah,
Especially, I think his helmet just makes it look really bad, because with the whole front of his helmet being that sort of yellow color, it feels less like gold accents and more like he's got yellow on him, which is a lot less.
Yeah.
There's a specific type of hat that his helmet looks like, but I don't know what it's called. It's like a wintry type of hat with like ear flaps and all that. It's got like the bit in the front that flaps up, and it has a similar.
Kinda.
It doesn't
look like a Yushenka.
It doesn't. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Oh yeah, that is what it's called, the Yushanka. It looks a little bit like that, and that has nothing to do with anything for his design. Like his hat.
It doesn't really give me that vibe. It feels like he's wearing a bucket on his head.
Yeah, the vibe it gives for me is that he looks like he's a Bobby.
A bit. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just an arbitrary hat shape.
I just want everyone to imagine for a second this Glide taking off his helmet, and he has the Legend Glide haircut.
See, that would elevate it.
Make his design like 4 times better.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I agree.
That hat just sucks so much.
Bad.
And meanwhile, the Legend's haircut has personality.
Yes. Now.
Imagine if Glide had personality.
Now, next up we have the last of Land's friend group, and one of the first bosses of the game. We have Gutsman.
Gutsman Classic.
Gutsman Classic
It is
really good.
That's Guts. Is that Gutsman powered up specifically?
That is specifically powered up, Sart. I think.
Yeah. Powered up is pretty fun.
Powered up is fantastic. It was either this or the original Mega Man 1 art. Doesn't quite represent what he looks like.
My opinion on Gutsman NetNavi is brilliant. It's just Gutsman but better. A lot of the NetNavis, in my opinion, are just the original design but better. And Gutsman, for me, is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at... I'll let you do your thing first before I add to it, I think.
So here's my takedown of this design. First of all...
well, takedown sounds negative.
Not takedown, my rundown. Here's my rundown on this design. So Gutsman Classic is meant to look like a construction worker. That's what a Metar helmet is. It's a construction helmet. The little green cross is the symbol that they use on helmets in Japan there for construction. Right. So we have Gutsman Classic. He has a little power gem in his helmet instead of the cross because, hey, he's a robot. Power gems are fun. NetNavi version still has that gem, but now it's green, and his personal symbol is the construction work symbol, which is fantastic.
That is clever.
Yeah.
I personally feel like his helmet reads less as a construction helmet in this one for some reason.
Because it's not round. He has a square head.
Yeah. It doesn't have, like, the size of it, so I think it loses a bit its readability there.
Well, here's...
The square head's really good, so I don't care.
what I'm thinking about this is that it doesn't read as much as the construction like helmet, but Gutsman EXE in general has a lot of elements of construction equipment vibe to his design. Like just like
Yeah.
the shapes, the way his fists and like his feet have little like nubs on them,
And the industrial
like just the
feet
shape.
and arms.
Yeah, the shape of the feet and like the fist guards and stuff, like and the little backpack thing, the head shape, all of it really. And like also his EXE design goes a little bit like caricature like on the proportions a bit in the sense that like he punches. We emphasized his arms like twice as much. They're like they go all the way to the ground. They're like a focal point of the design.
Yeah,
Gutsman EXE is fantastic.
I agree.
it is really good. I love the sort of sturdy shape of his feet. I love how the huge forearms and the strong jaw give him a sort of gorilla-like sort of aspect to him.
He's definitely more of a gorilla than classic Gutsman. Now, another thing with regard to like the construction equipment, his face, like the big lower jaw, like I'm a strong jaw type of guy. That's like a construction worker stereotype, and for EXE Gutsman, his big strong jaw looks like a backhoe or other sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Now, my only question. Sorry, you first.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, it's just a little change from his original design that just accentuates everything and sort of unites the design elements in a far more clever, elegant way, and I think that's really cool.
Now, I do have a question.
Okay.
What's the jetpack on his back for?
Is it a jetpack?
I've always read it as a jetpack, but here's the thing: if you were to look back at Mega Man, he's also got a little kind of backpack on him as well. And my read on that is that that's where the battle chips come from. because again, like custom style Mega Man, that backpack is bigger.
Yeah, it has the
the
vibe of
battle
just
chips
like
go.
it's either like some sort of backpack or like some sort of battery, or it's just like we added additional accessories with like construction-y vibes to emphasize the design, and it doesn't necessarily have a specific purpose.
Yeah,
but I think it works. I think it makes sure that there's not like an empty space in the design.
Yeah, it would look.
Yeah, I agree with Robin, but also with specific mention of like where the chips are. I feel like that's in the PED.
Yeah, but like I mean, where does the chip data get sent to? On the NetNavi.
That feels a bit of a weird.
Probably just like their digital brain.
Probably,
in most
yeah,
cases.
But it is.
Or their core, or they just like. It could easily be that their sense just. I don't know.
They get a physical booster pack of trading cards that they have to open in battle.
Or the backpack is like a receiver. Not where the chips go, but it's what picks up the data stream or whatever. I only bring it up because Gutsman and Mega Man are the only ones that have a backpack. And I just think that's neat. Like, why?
I'm guessing that if they're the only ones who have a backpack, then the chips aren't. They don't need the backpack to get chips.
Yeah. Now,
I know. To me, it just always read like, I don't know, he's got some canisters on his back because you find canisters at construction sites, I guess.
Yeah, they're air pressure canisters.
Who knows what he's got in there? I'm not his engineer.
Yeah.
It looks like it could be some sort of battery or power type thing to me too.
Possibly. Now here's the other question. Where do we put this guy?
S.
A vote for S,
I'm going to go S. I would put him... Honestly, I don't know why you've got Proton based in A and rolls all the way down in B, so it may not be on the same sort of wavelength.
My my idea of role is that she's just Mega Man but girl in the EXE version, basically.
Yeah, but she's got the antenna and she's pink.
Yeah, but that's just she's like Mega Man but girl, and she equipped like 2 accessories also.
3. She does.
That's what she's in the original, except she isn't even allowed to be an equal to Mega Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but like, like Base is in A because Aya is biased towards Base in a positive way. I was saying Base is just like the same guy, but he has a cloak on, basically. But I let her have that one.
I would say A, but like high A.
I guess that's fair.
Before Proto Man, even.
I definitely wouldn't say yes.
All right.
Now,
one little detail we didn't mention.
But he's got the guts.
One detail we didn't mention about his design, small thing, but I appreciate that they had the restraint to put red only on one part of his body.
Yeah, that actually is quite good.
Like, it goes with all the accent color stuff I've been saying, too.
Except
like,
it is an accent color at that point. It's like one part of his body. Yellow is a more dominant color there, and I think that their use of making most of his color yellow really is nice. Yellow and grey, but with that red that just shines out in the there. It's good.
Yeah, with the exception of Glide, Battle Network designs seem to be like really good about where they use color so far.
Yeah, so far, yeah. There like, are just some like a bit weird, but yeah.
Like, this is very much like the way I would use accent colors in video game fashion design, with like the soles of the boots matching like the arms and all that.
Yeah.
So that appeals to me, at least.
So next up, we have the first of the World 3 Net Navis. We have Fireman.
Oh no.
Now the thing about Fireman's design here is something that we kind of touched on a little bit with Gutsman, of they kind of invert the colors of the classic series sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like a little bit.
It's more like they just made more of him red.
Yeah.
It's not so inverted. Like the head is the same. Like the busters are inverted and the legs are inverted.
Less inverted and more. They swapped the like which color is dominant.
I really like the small contrasting like blue color that's added in like just a few places to make it stand out more.
Agreed. Those are pretty excellent.
Like the blue on the arm cannons, the legs, and also his eyes are blue.
Yeah.
Overall, though, okay. The best thing I can say about this design, I think, is making the torch head kind of a bit more of like, it feels like a smokestack. It feels like he's got a nuclear reactor head. Aside from that, though, I'm just not into this design.
That's totally fair.
I feel like this design is... I like it more than the classic one, but similar to the classic one, it's not super complicated. It's kind of basic. It does what it needs to, but like it's alright.
The classic one is Mega Man, but he's got a burner on his head.
Yeah, like most of the Mega Man 1 robot masters are basically Mega Man, but their head is different.
Yeah.
Or like Mega Man shaped, but they're wearing a parka, or...
Now,
you know...
There is a design element of Fireman here that I quite like, and this is just like a personal thing. I like that his arm cannons have the little vents on like the sides.
Oh yeah, that is a nice little touch.
That's just
also,
a detail that I think is really good.
The top of his boots looks kind of like... I'm forgetting a word here.
Nuts.
Like, yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like a screw. Which
I'm not really sure how that works with the design exactly, but I guess it sort of fits the slightly industrial theme of like the vents and the smokestack. But
my problem with that is that below the nuts, his boots just look like socks to me.
They do have a sock look to them.
Yeah, that is true.
Those
that
are
is true.
socks.
Yeah, like, I like the accent color there, but it does make them look like socks. You're not wrong.
I mean, here's the thing for me. One of the things that stands out is that there doesn't feel like much intentionality, whatever, in
That's right.
the sort of shapes that are being used here.
Yeah,
because
like the big
if you
shoulders
look at
are
his silhouette,
bad.
most of him is very rounded, and that's part of why his feet look like socks.
Yeah.
But then you have those weirdly square shoulders and those lug nuts for the top of his boots.
That is true.
It doesn't go together to me. Like he's got those big round parts for his arms, like not just the cannons, like the rest. His upper arms are like rounded too. He's got a round torso, a round head. Very human sort of definition on his legs. Rounded feet. And then just big squares on his shoulders. And the shoulders aren't even designed in a way that they stand out aesthetically. They don't have like a different color to them that makes them look like they're added on their arm or whatever.
Yeah.
It feels like he's wearing a bodysuit over a normal human body, but like is wearing cardboard boxes underneath the bodysuit on his shoulders.
Now, sorry to interrupt, but I do think that is sometimes okay, because Battle Network to me has always had a sort of like tokusatsu vibe to it.
Oh, sure. I just feel like the square shoulders stand out as something that has no place in this design, which is weird because they're one of the most defining parts of the silhouette.
I do very much agree that the very box shoulders is a down, is definitely a downer on this design. I think it is quite good. I think it is a good design for sure, but I feel like the box shoulders really take it down. Like they were having trouble with the sprite on how to convey the arms moving, and so they just kind of made them squares.
No, I don't feel it to me.
As a brief aside, I also like how when I was putting the art together, they're looking at each other. Fireman's looking down and to the right. Fireman is looking up and to the left a little bit, and like they're looking at each other.
That's fun.
Yeah,
That's
about
just
as much
amusing
as
to me.
Fireman EXE can do, because the guy has no neck. He cannot turn his head.
Yeah, and that's a good question, QWERTY. Do you think his flamethrower hands can become regular hands?
I don't feel like they need to as much for like a net nabby.
That's fair. I feel like they probably
Maybe
could.
he can make hands out of the fire that comes out of his cannons.
That's a very good
which
answer.
would be
I very much
that would
like
be
that.
quite silly, I think.
Yes. So where are we putting these guys?
Isn't it Operator Mr. Match?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Match cares about anything other than setting fire to stuff. So I feel like his net nabby cannot interact with the thing without igniting it.
Yeah, basically.
I feel like this guy gets to be our first C, maybe.
I would
like
agree.
it does. C for me is it does what it needs to do.
Mhm.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm honestly tempted by D, but I know that Zodi's probably not going to put him in D.
I do not think this is a bad design. I think Glide is a bad design.
He has bad shoulders, but everything else about him is actually pretty okay.
You could argue that his shoulders are like that because they're matchboxes or something, if you want to be funny about
Except
it.
if they, like, okay, we were talking about with Gutsman how, like, even his jaw feels like it's got some intentional sort of design elements to it. It evokes a sort of, a digger. These don't evoke anything. So I'm not going to buy the matchstick headcanon.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I mean, that was more of a joke than a serious suggestion.
Yeah.
Oh, are they? Are they lighters?
Oh, Celeste is suggesting that they might be lighters because of aspects of it
they
we
do
cannot
have
see.
like
That is true.
It doesn't come through for me, like, clearly. I know if it were a bit more obvious in their design, like if they had those little sort of clicky wheels sticking out the top, that would be better, but it still wouldn't, I think, flow with the rest of the design.
Yeah, like I get the idea. I feel like this design is not
just to show this
bad
off.
enough.
Just to show this off to the stream. Why is it so small and all the way down there?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Celeste.
Like if you were to look at Fireman from a different angle, that is what the shoulders look like.
Oh yeah,
which is very difficult to see when looking at him from the downward angle.
Yeah, they look entirely different in this picture.
Okay, he looks way better in that.
You can see them on the sides, the side here and a little bit there. This is an unflattering angle for Fireman.
Yeah, this is like a D tier angle, but I think Fireman still gets to be like at least C. The other angle does improve the design.
I'm comfortable with C. I do think the blockiness of the shoulders is a little silly still, but
yeah. I feel like in this angle,
about the shoulder pad bit makes it better.
I feel like with this angle, like he does have a lot of rounded elements to his design, but his arm cannons are a little blockier looking in a way that like evens it out more at this angle, I think.
I don't fully agree. There is a slight suggestion that they could be sort of X-shaped, but it's
not that
way
they're
too
like
subtle to convey that to me.
Yeah, not that they're angular. I just mean like the relative like size of them and like
they're a little too.
They're not spherical art. At least
they're a little too big in this art. They should be thinner and longer.
Yeah, no.
I think they'd be worse if they were thinner.
I think the big thing for me about this angle is that the shoulder pads being grey does a lot for the color scheme.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Still C.
It breaks up the red.
Still C, but higher.
I definitely wouldn't put it above C.
Yeah.
Now then, it is time for our next guy. It's time for Stone Man.
Stone Man?
I used the classic art instead of the more modern art of Stone Man because that shows him mostly crumbled into stone.
It makes it look like he's holding the other Stone Man's like leg fist back.
They're high-fiving.
Maybe doing a fist bump.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So this is like the first radically different design.
Yes, this is also the first design that's not from Mega Man 1. This is from Mega Man 6 suddenly. Not 6, 5.
5,
What are you talking about? I don't remember Base being in Mega Man 1.
Yeah.
They were.
Or Glide for that matter.
Okay, Glide...
Proto Man and Base were definitely not in... Proto Man and Base were definitely not in Mega Man 1. Proto Man is introduced in Mega Man 3. Base is introduced in Mega Man 7.
Okay, that's all true. Correct. I was wrong. I said a wrong thing.
This is the first Robot Master that is not from 1, though we've only seen like 2 Robot Master designs so far, so that doesn't have as much impact either.
Yes. Anyway, how do we feel about Stone Man?
Fucking hilarious.
He's so goofy.
I like this big... very silly creature. It feels like something you'd encounter in a JRPG.
Like when now that you describe him as a creature, he feels less like a man and more like a weird crab or turtle, maybe.
This guy is a boss you would fight at the start of Mega Man X before you find who the Maverick.
Oh yeah. That's a good.
This is a mini boss design. This guy looks like a mini boss.
He doesn't really have the Mega Man X aesthetic, but he has like the like the vibe and shape of a intro stage Mega Man X boss somewhat.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
I like that he
But
has he has Stone Man's power crystal in his shoes.
Are they that? Because they've always read to me kind of like ball-bearing magnets.
I think they're basically ball-bearing magnets, yeah. Also,
like,
Corey is right.
Is that how he's like suspending himself above the feet by magnet power?
I guess his arms are not connected. By the way, it's very specifically pointed out in the art book that they're not connected; they are floating.
He's like a weird, blocky, like disconnected from itself castle guy, and I think it's very neat and creative.
Here's the thing that I would say about Stone Man EXE. He looks like he would be Blockman EXE if that game had existed.
That's true. I don't
remember Blockman, but yes.
Blockman's from 11, and he does. Yeah, he even has he has the same color as the blue-green on Stone Man EXE here. But I also like that Stone Man EXE is entirely different colors than.
I do like that. You don't have to.
Not like entirely, but.
Like, as
I like this color combination. I think it works well together. I like how it's distributed, like the accents of like the yellow on the bottom of the big old stompers that he's got and stuff.
I was waiting to get to the color scheme because I think that this is a very unusual color scheme. It's not something you see much basically anywhere, and as a result, it really is distinctive. It stands out. It helps this already very unique design feel even more so. And I think it's just really neat how very consistent its use is throughout the whole design. It's just a straight line across the top of whatever unit it's on.
Yeah.
And it feels very clean, very satisfying.
Yeah. And there's also like just enough like random greebling on the various pieces of him to make it like also have like an interesting texture to it.
Yeah, because
like more so than the original having like just a really straightforward brick pattern and like brick-ish color.
Yeah.
And like if I'm trying to imagine Stone Man EXE with the color scheme of classic Stone Man, it's like way too Dragon Quest Golem to me.
It would just be a Dragon Quest Golem, holy shit.
Like, not exactly, but it would be like it'd be quite similar in vibe.
Thinking on it, Stone Man's kind of got that look to him, actually, like the classic version. He does look like a goddamn golem.
He does a little bit, and I think like the face of EXE is a little bit more like Dragon Quest Golem, whereas like the body of Classic is more Dragon Quest Golem. But like, all the ways that EXE's elements combined together are good.
Yeah,
I think. I wonder if Blockman was inspired by him, like retroactively.
Maybe.
Not retroactively, but.
Okay, so here's a question.
Yes.
Do you think Blockman's arms can turn into hands? Because we asked this question last time.
No, absolutely not.
This boy does nothing but like crush, and that's another of the things I think that this design's really good for. It conveys the idea of this guy crushes you, and it conveys it really effectively.
Who's the navigator for Stone Man EXE?
So that's actually an interesting question because ignoring base, Stone Man is the first operatorless NetNavi. And also, his only dialogue is him saying the word Gok and having parentheses over what he's actually saying translated. He's presented as a creature that is Stone Man. Yeah.
He's very, like, he's like a turtle monster.
Yeah.
Kinda.
So...
And, like, he probably turtles as a battle strategy.
He does not move. He puts down cubes. He makes rocks fall on you. That's basically it. Now, the original classic Stone Man had Power Stone. Controversial favorite super weapon of that video game.
Oh, hell yeah. Power Stone likers unite.
Yeah,
if there are any around.
But yeah.
I unironically think Power Stone is a really fun weapon because it's so like unconventional and you have to like think about how to use it.
That is true.
You want to hear my hot take on Mega Man Classic weapons?
They're too
Not enough
straightforward.
shields.
I heard both of those at the same time and only processed a little bit of them.
They're too straightforward.
No,
I said
that's not
enough
like,
shields.
well, one of those is kind of true. Like, I was gonna, like, my controversial, probably hot take on Mega Man Classic weapons is that the weapons in 9 are bad because they are too good and usable in all situations.
That's valid. That makes sense.
Like, they're just very straightforward
That's an
upgrades,
excellent word.
basically. And, like, I think people like to say Mega Man 9 has some of the best weapons or something, or, like, somebody says that, probably. And, like, in terms of usability and, like, power, yes, but I think that makes them boring
And that makes
and just, like,
that makes
not,
perfect sense.
not
personally.
interesting.
At some point, I am going to stream all of the other Mega Mans.
There's a lot of them.
Yes.
Who are you, Sandra?
I don't know who that is.
Well, she was a Kickstarter backer for the other game you're playing right now, because you murdered a character with her name.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so...
She writes light novels about queer feelings. She streams a lot of things.
Okay.
She's
Like,
generally
every day
pleasant
she
as a
streams
person.
Mega Man.
Okay. So, for my design criteria, Stoneman EXE is not a good adaptation of Stoneman Classic because, like, as we discussed, functionally, he somehow fits someone who will exist many years later more.
Mhm.
But is this a good design?
I noticed Celeste said, personal opinion, this one is D tier, and I'm wondering if she can elaborate on that at all. I'm just curious.
Yeah, Celeste, if you are here, feel free to elaborate. If I were to assume what her opinion was, I would think it's because honestly, he's just a bunch of shapes.
Sometimes you just need a bunch of shapes.
Yeah.
I think he's neat.
I also think
I agree. I like him. He's like, I like when the net navis are like very different.
Okay, so Celeste
because
is going
I think
is this is a translation of this other character. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So, like, personally, I like it when the net navis like do like a totally different take on the thing they're based on.
Yeah.
But like, I can see how that's not something everyone would appreciate, or not. Well, that makes it sound like I'm being high and mighty about it. Like, I can see how it's not something that would be for everyone. Is a better way of putting it.
One other design
As a
element.
standalone design, I'd definitely rate it pretty high as
Hello, Cordy.
Hello, Cordy.
like, the thing is, as an adaptation, why would you could have just called this Castle Man or whatever. It didn't have to be Stone Man. If you're evoking his name, why?
Yeah.
That's a
Is it
good
just
point.
because people know the
I
name?
guess.
And by doing that, it tells people in the future, if you want to see this Brickfellow's design
I need to be right
as a net navi, tough. It ain't happening.
Yeah, like... Oh, I think I stepped away for a second. But yeah, like, I get it. I think, like was mentioned, he is more of a Blockman EXE, except that wasn't a thing yet.
Hey, QWERTY, your picture's on screen.
Yeah, I heard QWERTY.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
You wanted to get in on the fashion corner. Hi.
Yep. But
Either that, or you
haven't
just
figured out
wanted to
very
be
much
able
this
to
time.
talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, where people couldn't not listen to you.
No.
I'm sure Yu-Gi-Oh will come up during this stream at some point. Wait, it already has.
I mean, it came up only due to my misremembering.
I don't care. I like talking about Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's probably not going to come up again. Or if it does, I I'm not sure. I can't think of any upcoming Navi where it would come up.
What about Xyz Man?
No, that's not a thing.
No, it's EXE, not Xyz. It's different in this game. Well, time to design a Yu-Gi-Oh version of everything that's .xyz. So
No.
So yeah, I think this guy is neat.
Mhm.
Oh, wait, one thing to compare. We haven't done a comparison of the actual series logo.
I have returned. What have I missed?
Nothing. But
not much.
Bertie says we should talk about the logo.
Yeah, the logo. So actually, yes, I did have
Like,
something to say
the
about
Mega Man logo versus the Mega Man Battle Network logo.
You know what? When I'm done, I will do that. But also, actually, speaking of Stone Man's logo, he has little like rivets on the gold part of his logo, which match the ones on his hands. Which also,
Oh yeah, also like the gold bands on EXE do match a gold band around the waist
yes,
of Classic.
That's
there.
what I was about to say. So, where are we putting Stone Man?
So if one of our criteria is like evoking the classic design, he doesn't do that very much, as we've established.
No.
He looks more like a Blockman EXE, but I do think his design is very neat, and I like it. I like the angle they took with it.
Agreed.
Even if it's not exactly Stone Man per se.
Yeah.
So like balancing out those factors, I would say at least B.
I would
Agree.
agree. Yeah, I was thinking high C, low B. So, I'll
I
put...
was thinking low A, high B.
Yeah, like I'm like I agree with Iza on this one, but like
Okay.
if one of our stated criteria is translation of classic design, then he doesn't really meet that one as much. So he has to lose some points for it.
Is there a
If those
little
are
bit
our
of
rules.
something with EXE's chin and Classic's chin guard, or not really?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a shape.
little
I can
bit,
see
a
it.
little bit.
And like there's the head shape, the gold bands, like there are elements, but as Celeste said in chat, if I was meant to identify that this was based on Stone Man without knowing, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And like that's fair.
I
I
think...
probably would guess his name is Brickman, but like
Yeah.
I don't remember the names of the Mega Mans.
That's
We've
entirely...
well,
already got a
so-
Rockman.
Yeah,
If I
Blockman is way
Stoneman, it would just be because I'm guessing at names.
Yeah.
Blockman is way later than the Battle Network that
No,
Stone Man
but we've
EXE
already
was
got a
in, but-
Rockman.
Yeah.
Rockman.
Now...
We do in fact have a Rockman. That's true.
We have Rockman and Stoneman, and they're completely different.
Now, our next one is going to be very interesting.
Did somebody say Rock and Stone? Insert deep rock galactic jokes here.
I don't even know what that game is genre-wise, other than multiplayer.
You're a bunch of angry dwarves and you're mining.
Sounds normal.
The most important thing is that you can point at a mushroom and mark it, and your guy goes, "Mushroom!"
Okay,
And then you can
so-
point at gems and mark them, and they go, "We're rich!" And you can go back and forth and get, "We're rich! Mushroom! We're rich! Mushroom!"
Okay.
Okay.
I love you.
Okay.
It's important.
So
Thank
our,
you also.
it is important. So our next one is going to be a bit of a special one. Because it is Number Man, who, you may notice, does not have a counterpart. That is because he's unique to the Battle Network series and is the first unique NetNavi of the series.
Okay, so we're judging NetNavis in general and not like just comparisons.
Yeah, I can't cut out the unique ones.
Well, in that case, Number Man is
You cut out the
fantastic.
human characters.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, but human characters aren't net navies, so screw them.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not comparing the human characters because that would be too much, actually.
Like
When we get
looking,
the characters that have a comparison, I think that the human characters who have a comparison, that might be good.
You know what? Yes,
maybe.
I will do that.
Yeah, there's
So-
like a few of those.
So,
There's a few.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Numberman's body is a scale that you put things on to weigh them.
Oh yeah, it is.
You're right. You're right. This is his torso bit. I never
was
noticed
thinking
that.
I was thinking more about like how much this design evokes and resembles his operator. His light bulb head shape is like Higsby's hair. He's got like the khaki pants going on all even.
Higsby absolutely gangles. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very gangly.
Which is incredible because Numberman doesn't move in the first game.
He just sort of stands there. In his fight, he is slightly hunched in a way he's not in this arc.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that adds to the gangle.
Hunched over like Higsby.
Notably, none of his arts show him like that. There's this one where he's doing, like, the classic psychic pose.
This is the pose Higsby does at least half of the times where he goes, huh,
and
in his dialogue.
The other art for Numberman, he's doing a, he's doing a showman pose where he's just, like, one hand on his hip, one hand at his head, and just, like, doing a dance.
That's another pose that Higsby does when he goes, huh, you just can't see it.
Yeah. So Numberman's
Higsby
fantastic.
is always posing.
So Numberman's fantastic. Also, yes.
Also, like
Celeste is right. His head is a disco ball.
Yeah, like the band under his light bulb disco ball head with like the glowing spots on it is also similar to like Higsby's glasses and stuff in a way.
Yeah, those are his eyes.
Ball, but it's also a little bit blinking lights. You know.
I don't know what a blinking light is.
Old computer that's just got lights for everything, and they're just always blinking on and off.
He's calculating those numbers.
Is this our first S tier?
No.
Well, no, actually no, because in the tier list he goes in the does not have a comparison.
But otherwise, yes, this is a good one.
Yes.
I like Numberman a lot.
I would say he's.
I have issues with this. I really do like his head, but I don't like his feet.
It's also
it's
weird. It's weird how this guy who doesn't move is the most animated and flexible feeling almost.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that too.
That's not a standing pose of feet. He has no visible ankle joint, and yet you can very definitely see he is bending at the ankles.
Yeah, and that is a weird aspect to his design where like how does he move? He doesn't in like the first game he's in, but how does he move? He's got them.
Clearly, it's flexible. It's like a rubber covering over joints.
His shoes are flexible exactly like anyone with tall boots has flexible shoes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Like,
anyway,
if you are wearing tall boots, there is probably, like, either there's enough room for your ankle to bend inside the boot, or the boot bends at the ankle. Because that's how feet work.
Yeah. So,
Iza wanted to say something.
Yeah,
I've been waiting very patiently. Like the first thing I said was just like a minute ago.
Sorry about that.
I said I like the head, I don't like the shoes, and that's about all I got to say. So now I also want to say I really dislike his color scheme. I really don't like the combination of that sort of tan with that green, but more than anything, I think that's the red-orange sort of color accenting it feels really garish.
Maybe I feel like it works a bit for him to be a bit garish. Like it sort of like I don't know if it really lines up with his personality, but it does line up with like Higsby in a way. I think like Higsby is a guy who stands out and like just like behaves how he feels like by always going huh all the time, which is like the number one thing I think of with Higsby, honestly. But I get the idea.
That's fine. I just don't like it.
That's totally fair.
I don't really like any element of the design under his head.
I have a question about this design.
Yes.
What's up with his fingies? What's his hand situation doing?
Those are like little tubers.
But like, why though?
Because again, the pose is
Explain to me how these finger tubes relate to numbers.
So,
And don't just say
They're
there are 3 of
digits,
them.
Robin.
I mean, they are digits. That's true. But the vibe...
I'm just, like, staring blankly. Imagine that I'm staring blankly at you in response to this.
The vibe I've always had
for Number
it,
Man.
The vibe I've always had for Number Man is that he's meant to be, like, kind of evocative of an alien.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was thinking this whole
it.
time and not saying. But yeah.
He's a bit like a classic.
Very little green man vibe to him.
Yeah.
If you think of the Pokemon LGM,
yeah,
very similar vibes.
Yeah, you're right. So do we just have this guy on not applicable? We're doing a comparisons tier list only and not like a...
Okay, well,
yeah, I
not
feel
like
what I'm gonna do with it is
including
that...
him as on the tier list would be nice.
So
Even though I'd completely disagree with where everyone would put him.
Here's my suggestion. You can put the ones without a comparison in the regular tiers, but like denote them with a little asterisk or something.
Okay, I was going to put all of the ones that don't have comparisons in NA, and then have next to them what their ranking is. But
I feel like it's cleaner if they're in the ranking, but have like a little footnote
that
symbol.
makes sense. I would say like B. I would say low B for Number Man.
Like, I do...
Maybe C?
My initial impressions were very high, but I've been talked down a bit by the conversation, so I think that's fair.
Same, yes.
I think my favorite part, like, despite Yuzo's misgivings about the color scheme, I do think my favorite part is the khaki pants, actually. Because I think it's quite funny for him to effectively have khaki pants.
That is pretty good. It is not usually, like, stated in universe, but the NetNavi kind of reflecting the operator is kind of like a thing a little bit in how they're designed, because like that just makes sense.
Also, actually, Higsby does not wear khaki pants, so I guess he loses a few points.
Ah.
But also I feel like
if
the orange like
meant to be-
neck accessory is kind of like a tie analog, not really.
Kind of.
But yeah.
It's really not. But yeah, no, if they were khaki pants, I feel like his sleeves being the same color detracts from that.
Yeah. It's just the sleeves are less noticeable in the art, so I wasn't thinking about them as much.
Now it is time for a precious small child. It's time for Iceman. So here we have Iceman.
I see. I forgot what Iceman EXE looked like.
He's just a little guy with the little.
He
swirly...
looks like a weird baby.
Yes, he does. This is a weird baby.
Yeah, there's a slight. I've always found that Iceman.exe has this slight inhuman quality. This kind of
like a little bit of
vain
uncanniness
gnomishness that always felt. Actually, same with Yai. So I don't know if this is to what extent this is intentional, because Yai is not human. Yai is some sort of forest creature that fairies like stole her parents' real child and replaced it with one of their own.
Glide does have wings. This checks out.
That's true. True. I think Iceman's parka looks nice. That looks.
The parka is nice. The little like the little symbol in the middle breaks up that design a bit. I don't know why his boots look like they have like toes in the way that like evokes like a cartoon like animal foot.
I'm pretty sure there's a modern Pokemon that has that exact same foot design actually.
Probably.
Huh.
I guess this is sort of another fabric-y character design for Navi, isn't it?
A little bit
yeah.
with the wool.
It's not flowing like Base's cloak was, but it's still...
Like he's got like baggy pants instead of robot legs.
Yeah.
It feels extremely not robotic.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a robot or program or whatever.
So this is where the third design category comes in of, does this feel like a Battle Network design?
No.
No.
Very much no.
Yeah.
This feels like a person.
This is the previous Iceman with smaller eyes and pink cheeks.
This is the protagonist.
Iceman.
This is what, Iceman?
Genshin. What are these
Gaijinka. Yeah. I don't know if those are made of like actual already humanoid characters, but like I get the idea, I think.
They're generally not.
Well,
but...
instead of it being a little robot guy with like tiny squat feet, it's like what if a person was dressed to resemble them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except this clearly isn't a person, as I said, it's a gnome.
Here's what this design is to me. This is the protagonist of an NES platformer that is like not very well known and never got a sequel by a company that is now out of business.
That's a very good descriptor. My descriptor.
Everything up until the very last clause there is just ice climbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
it's a
what
bit
Iceman
ice climber.
This is just an ice climber.
But yeah, I'm like, man, what's a good example?
I have a descriptor for Iceman. So Iceman is a baby character that shows up in a manga that everybody is like, that's a baby, and then the baby starts speaking like full sentences like a grown man.
Yeah.
What does he do in the anime? I'm pretty sure he shows up in the anime because I know they made...
The anime does a very interesting thing, because in
the games... They made
games...
Freud Kid more of a character in the anime.
In the games, Freud is the net operator for Iceman, and his child is a generic NPC. And that is reversed in the anime, where Iceman is a major main character, and his net operator is one of Lan's friends.
Huh.
And his dad is not existent, basically.
No, it's like I said before. Freud and Chad were a pair, and and that gives you pronunciation indication, and no one uses it.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's hot and cold, except Chad has absolutely nothing to do with heat, and no one pronounces it like it's French.
Now,
I see you've put Iceman in D tier,
are we
and I think
comfortable with putting Iceman in D?
I agree with that statement.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if he's worse than Glide if we're ordering within tiers at all.
You know what? There, yes, I should
like,
do that. Better than
if
Glide.
we are ordering within tiers,
Glide, honestly, like Glide as an adaptation at least changed things. Not well, but like it didn't just feel like a redraw in a different art style.
Yeah, I was mostly mentioning that, so like we should discuss that a little bit. But I think he is beneath Glide. He doesn't look. Glide looks like a net Navi.
You know what?
This guy looks like he's from an NES platformer.
We found the one positive thing to
about.
Say about Glide.
He's better than Iceman EXE.
He looks like a net Navi.
He does.
He looks like. I mean, we might as well put like one of the generic net Navis you meet in all over the place in here, and just like stick him right above Glide.
Yeah, where does Heel Navi go on the list?
You know what? I hadn't thought about putting the
3
actual...
or 4 distinct designs, and those are designs.
You know what? I'm gonna... I can't do it yet, because there's a number of these designs. But after we beat Mega Man Battle Network 3, I will include the normal Navi designs that we have seen.
Actually, like, thinking about generic Navis and Glide looks like if Mega Man Battle Network had like a Dragon Quest III make your own party system and he was the paladin. He's the generic, he's like, if this was an RPG where you built a party out of generic units, Glide is the paladin.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so...
No, he'd be the guy who, like, Glide is the, like, Yai's entire thing is being rich.
True.
To the extent that we get any information at all about
We're
Glide
rich
in combat, it's that she's got really expensive chips.
Yeah, I mean more in like
Maybe
the
he's
design
the
sense and not
gadabout.
how the character is used.
Maybe Glide is the gadabout.
He's not a clown.
Yeah,
Don't
no.
disparage clowns this way.
Yeah, speaking of clowns, our next one is
Not Clown Man.
Not
so
Clown
not
Man.
exactly.
Another unique design, not in any of the classic series, which is wild because there are like 2, maybe 3 people Color Man could be.
I forgot that Colorman was in fact a clown. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
He's sort of a clown. He's sort of just.
He evokes a clown with like his general like stripes and like the
And in the
hair
anime,
and
instead they will call him Wacko Man.
Yeah, the anime called him Wacko Man.
wow.
This is because the Japanese name for Color Man is Colored Man, and that's a little oof.
Oh.
Oof. Ah!
Yeah, that's
Alucard taking damage. Wave.
Yes, yes, it is. So another thing about Color Man's design is that Color Man is one of the only NetNavis that takes advantage of the fact that since they're like digital, you can just kind of like flip through things if you want. So when Color Man throws the big ball out, the legs just kind of like floop down and has like tiny little stick legs.
Huh.
And they're otherwise just clipping through the body like that.
I mean, they might not be clipping through. He might and have a long skirt.
That's true. That's possible.
That's a fun design
but
element
aren't
that
those
you can't really
exclamation
see.
mark things the soles of his feet?
Sorry. Yeah, the exclamation points. That's fun. That's a fun design.
She asked if they were the soles of his feet, though.
Oh yeah, they are. Those are the soles of his feet.
Oh, so his feet are visible.
Yeah, those
right
are his
now.
feet. Those are his feet.
Huh. I didn't know that.
You didn't? Huh.
Are we sure?
Yes.
They don't look like they are.
They are definitely his feet because those go away when he is standing.
Huh. They look just like
yeah,
weird
Zodi's
belt
right about the
accessories.
clipping thing.
Yeah.
The other thing about Color Man is that his hair looks like his net operators,
Mm.
which is just neat.
Always a bonus when there's a bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do we feel about this guy?
I like him. He's not my favorite, but I think he's got a very creative, fun design. I think the long noodle arms are fun. Bright primary colors fit his vibe. I don't know why he's a fan of Billy Hatcher, but
Yeah, he does look
I'm
like
not
a
going to
Billy
dock too
Hatcher
many
egg.
points for that.
So, my concern with this guy is the thing we were just talking about. Like, he looks more like a NetNavi than Iceman EXE does, but
Yeah.
he doesn't. I'm not entirely sure how NetNavi-ish this guy is.
It doesn't. There is a point where it's kind of like, what does that mean necessarily?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I think this is well within the scope of the weirder set of NetNavis.
Yeah, like,
That's
I
fair.
agree.
like
I mean,
consider Stone Man.
That's fair. That's fair. I yeah.
look
This
at this
is well
guy's.
within the scope of non-humanoid Navis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
If you look at this guy's arms and his hands especially, they are definitely very robotic shaped,
Yes.
which isn't something we got with Iceman.
I just noticed that his hands look like they're wearing suspenders or overalls, rather.
They do, kinda, yeah.
That's really
Oh,
goofy.
that's the thing. Color Man
Goofy
is a very
parentheses
goofy
positive.
Yeah. Another fun thing is that Color Man is wearing glasses and or goggles because you can see right next to the eyes little straps.
Hmm.
Which could also be like makeup, maybe.
Yeah, I mean it's probably glasses.
So I'm not as warm on this design as you two, as the other three, you three even.
Well, I didn't say
Oh,
exactly what my opinion was yet, but go ahead.
I think Color Man is a C. I like
Oh
it.
no, I
feel-
put him high B.
I feel like I'm more agreeing with Aya here. I can't really place exactly why, but like high C, low B maybe sounds about right.
If it helps at all for this, I mean, it's not going to be just a chat stream. When we're done this, we are going to resume the post game, assuming we have time.
It's only been 1.5 hours so far.
Yeah. So here's the other thing about Color Man is that, and I don't know if this necessarily matters, but Color Man attacks you. The scenario for Color Man is they are the one who makes the fuel of the vehicles run backwards so that they'll explode.
What?
In Mega Man
I
Battle,
guess
traffic lights.
Yeah, and that's why Color Man has the colors that he has. They're traffic light signals: blue, which is green, yellow, and red.
Blue, which is green. Statements made normally all the time.
I mean, that's just Japan.
I mean, it is in this
Yes.
case, but
so does
it's just
that
a funny.
does that
thing.
influence the opinion on the design?
I mean,
don't
it doesn't
know.
to me. I think it doesn't read particularly as traffic light colours, but
That's fair.
Yeah.
that's my cultural bias.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it reads perfectly good as clown colours. I
very
think
clown.
the
Yeah.
idea of a colour-based net navi changing the colour of light, or
Yeah, I mean,
which
like-
coloured lights are on, makes sense.
He's Color Man, and his primary colors are the three, primary colors and bright white, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
For what he is and what
Yeah.
he does.
So
I'm mostly distracted by the overalls hands, and also he has like the same fingers that Number Man did. Now
He
that I
does,
look at it,
he
but he has
does,
4 of them
huh.
instead of 3.
huh.
Huh.
They're golden goat fingers.
So I
This also makes his hands look like McDonald's French fries.
kind of. So I'm C. Yiza is B. QWERTY, how do you feel about Color Man?
He's fine.
Okay. I think
He's fine. Some ideas here are interesting. He's fine.
yeah. I think Color gets to be above Fire. How's that
Yeah.
sound?
That sounds normal and reasonable to me. I don't know why I said normal. That sounds
Okay.
reasonable to me.
Okay. Now it is time for one of the more threatening of the World 3 Navis from the first game, Alekman.
For a pretty serious guy, this works, I think.
I adore Alekman's design personally.
Oh yeah, forgot about this
so
one.
serious.
I like how Alekman's helmet as a net navi emulates the silhouette of Alekman Classic, but instead of having the lightning bolt antenna, he just has the pattern on the helmet. I like that he has a little shawl that looks like the armor that Alekman has. I really like the metal coil look on his hands, and I love the Tesla coil backpack. I really like Alekman's design.
There's a lot of
Also,
cool
his
details.
knees, like, I don't know
Oh yeah, the
well enough
pattern.
to like spark fuses.
Yeah, they look like spark plugs. The pattern on his legs.
My issue with this is more of the image itself than the design, because I feel like they put too many electrical effects on this particular art.
You know what? That's a fair point.
I can't
it is,
you can't like see the man as
Give
much.
me just a moment. I will get a better
Also,
art.
does he gain or lose points for reminding me of Mighty Number 9?
I mean, the design he is reminding you of is one of the good ones from that.
Yeah, he reminded me that Dynatron exists, and I like her design
Yeah,
a fair bit.
Alekman very much looks like he belongs in the same design family as Dynatron.
Yeah. Also, I guess like classic Electman is one of the slightly less Mega Man with a different head on the body. He's got a few extra details, kinda. But he's still basically Mega Man, but like not.
Yeah.
Not that we're rating the classic designs.
So here is a better look at Electman, because he's one of the ones with more than one art.
He's probably a popular one.
Yes.
Oh, his electric coil backpack is significantly larger in this image. Is this like a later iteration of the design?
Yes. Without going too much into spoilers, some of these people come back later.
Yeah. I feel like I think I like this second image a lot more. Like, you can see more of the details on the gloves, and like it makes it more clear that like in the first image, like the purple part of his body looks kind of like some sort of like shirt or like layer of clothing.
Yeah.
But here it's more clearly just like the body.
Yeah.
And also like this shows there's some detail like where in like his arm socket area.
Like that bit right there.
Yeah.
I really like that little part under his arm.
Yeah, that's good.
It really just adds a bit of detail that just makes it look even better.
So
it's got that thing I was talking about with Proto Man a while ago, where there's like shapes that are represented throughout the design, because the bit under the arm has the spike going down, and then there's the V-shaped indent in like the boot area. That is a continuation of that.
Razir has a good point of Electman's hands feel very large. Just bigger hands than you would expect.
I think that's just a general art style thing of Battle Network and some of the cartoony.
His hands, Electman's hands definitely are specifically large.
They are.
Okay.
Is the thing.
I feel like it makes sense because he channels his lightning through them.
Yeah.
They're basically his gun arm.
One of the very few without the big ring on the end of gloves or boots.
Yeah.
Like his legs just go.
Yep.
This guy is a slender fella.
Yeah.
Yeah. I generally like the oversized cartoony hands in a lot of designs for things.
I also like the little lightning bolt face mark. That's nice.
It's harder to see in the other thing.
Yeah. And
also, I have to give him biased bonus points because his helmet looks a little bit like cat ears.
It kind of does. I also like how Electman... It's just this pose, but Electman looks kind of like a Sonic character in this art.
Yeah, no, big hands and finger gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's both of the poses, honestly.
Yeah, both of them.
He's got, like, the vibes in both poses. For sure.
So where do we put Electman?
For me, this is top of A. I think that this is an absolutely fantastic design, pretty much flawless. But I think there's room for like something that's truly exceptional to come out on top.
Yeah.
He's good, but I wouldn't put him above Gutsman.
Okay.
I think he's definitely high A as well.
Okay, Electman's one of my favorites, so I definitely agree with that. Electman gets into A.
Also, we can adjust the ones as we go on, presumably.
Of course.
If we ever feel like maybe Proto Man's not that great or whatever.
Now,
I think Proto Man's not that great.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that earlier. And since you and Cordy weren't here for the first few,
how do you feel about
if you
the
have
other
opinions
designs that we've
about
gone through?
those?
We don't need to stretch the stream out too much longer. It doesn't matter what the order is, really, in the end of the day.
So, next up,
I mean, there's still... Are you going to do the final boss?
You know, I did not consider putting the life virus in here.
I think we're mostly focusing on the EXEs, generally.
The life virus. I think we were talking about Treble.
That's the second game. Although actually, I should probably put Gospel and Treble in.
If you're doing non-navies that have a comparison,
I'll do that.
I mean, you gotta put Mets, right?
Yeah, I mean they're perfect.
Put Mets. There's very little change, but
See, the thing about Metars is that we cannot put the Metars in because the Metars are automatically S rank. They're just perfect, okay? They're just
They're
perfect little
basically
guys.
identical to what they were in the original games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't improve
They
on
have
perfection.
pickaxes now.
Yeah, which is cool.
And
I think some of the classic Metars have pickaxes, but that might have been a post-Battle Network back to the classic series sort of edition. I'm not sure.
Possibly.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen pickaxe metals, but I don't know.
So, our next one is Bombs
Actually, don't the
Man.
very first ones throw pickaxe? No, wait, that's
No,
a different
they
enemy.
shoot bullets.
Never mind.
So, Bomb Man. I appreciate that he's got like the patterning on his arms, body, and legs of like a grenade.
And
Yeah,
his
but then
body's
he's
the shape
Grenade
of
Man.
one.
Yeah, he's
Grenade Man exists already at this
yeah,
point in time.
You could easily mix this guy up for Grenade Man.
This is a Grenade Man except for the cartoon bomb shoulder.
Yeah, and like the little bomb here. He takes the bombs out of his shoulders, by the way, to throw them.
It's fun that he has like the same mohawk.
Yes.
Yeah, and
The,
I
the
think
Ultraman
that the
Mohawk is really good.
being grenade designed, despite being Bomb Man, because that evokes like the top of grenade that sort of is kept in the sort of trigger that's kept in place
like
by
the pin and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I see what you mean now. Actually.
So yeah, I think that's a pretty elegant way of including the idea of a bomb while carrying over the iconic mohawks. I think Bomb Man's mohawk is one of the things that really makes him one of the less Mega Man in the costume
Yeah.
robot masters from the first game.
He's also got like a big. He's big.
Like
compared to
if we
Mega
think
Man.
of the mohawk as that part of a grenade, the entire like torso area being the grenade is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
I do think his design is a little bit like top heavy, I guess.
Yeah.
There's like not much
No,
going
I don't
on.
think it's that much. I think it is like no more top heavy than like an American football gear.
That's true too.
So the other.
And he is posing like he's a sportsman, but the bomb is the sports ball, kinda.
That is because he is. Bomb Man is very Bomberman in that he is going to kick that bomb at you.
So he
And then
so
he's gonna blow himself up because he's trash at Bomb Man just like me.
He
Well,
wait,
you're
what?
probably fine at it.
No, I am bad.
Fair.
At Bomb Man, I always blow myself up.
Okay. But yeah, he is meant to evoke the like sportsman design because he does
Okay,
kick the
yeah.
bombs.
That's fair.
He's also
got,
our second independent net navy.
He's got a little bit of like a sports helmet face guard thing going on too.
Yeah.
I get that now. Yeah.
So where are we putting Bomb Man?
I will
I'd
also.
say high B. I think
will say-
that it's not a standout design, but I think everything about the design works. It's elegant. It feels like a net navy. It makes great use of Bomb Man's original design, and takes an element from the original design that was just there and makes it make a new level of sense.
Yeah.
I will say one other thing that's not like a plus or a minus. It's just a detail I'm noticing. Is his little emblem just like the World 3 logo, and he doesn't have his own little logo?
No, that's
No,
an
it's
explosion.
a blast.
It's like
Oh.
the fuse on
It's
the
like-
bomb.
Yeah,
I don't think the World 3 has a logo.
Oh, it just looks like a big old W.
The
so
world.
I just
The
kind
World
of
3
guessed.
logo is the W. It is like World 3. The WWW.
World 3 is like the Wah McDonald's.
kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah. So is it possible that it's meant to evoke both the bomb and World 3 because it's
Possibly.
W-ish?
Possibly.
Because
I
that's
think that would
neat
be
if
clever.
so.
Yeah.
My only complaint about this design is like if the color scheme was different, this would be Grenade Man EXE.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
if this guy was
The mohawk
blue,
and or like greenish or whatever.
The
Like
greenish
the mohawk and the color scheme and the bombs are like how you know it's Bomb Man. But it's a little bit odd to me that he is like the grade stuff is cool as we've discussed, but also like there's a guy for that already.
yeah.
So it's a little bit odd. But I think I would agree with B.
Okay.
Because it's still like a solid design.
Okay. Bomb Man. B for bombs. And now we get to the last NetNavi that you have to fight in Mega Man 1. And also, I believe the one whose inspiration comes from the furthest in the series when this game was made. And that's Magic Man, which is,
Mega Man and bass, huh?
Yeah. So here's a...
When do we get airconman.exe? Oh, that's very different. I forgot.
So, here's the thing. You say the words Magic Man. Both of these guys evoke that pretty well, I think.
In completely different ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, Magic Man Classic, if he had a NetNavi logo, he would be a NetNavi.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
He's already like a NetNavi. I was just gonna say like Magic Man Classic. Looking at this, maybe one of the better classic designs, all things considered. Actually,
I do agree with that. Actually,
but it is a very NetNavi like design.
It does. The things that stop it from being a NetNavi is that there's too many hard angles on some of the curves. Whereas, like,
I guess so. Maybe.
Bit,
Well, not. I don't know about that actually.
Yeah. It is a very cromulent NetNavi design. If you were to take this and say make it look more NetNavi, it would not be difficult.
I like how you say there's too many hard angles and Magic Man EX so many pointy bits.
Yeah, but he still has like the smooth tapering in like aside from that.
Pointy hat, pointy beard that looks more like a Plague Doctor beak to me, honestly. Yeah. Pointy like hat accessories, pointy boots,
so the thing
diamond patterns.
The thing about Magic Man EXE is that he's a rabbit.
I see.
He's got the rabbit ears. And
I wouldn't call those rabbit ears.
I would say.
I don't know.
I think they're rabbit ears. He also has magical staffs for hands.
Yeah,
it's just orbs and sleeves.
Yeah, he could just be observing orbs, as one does.
I'm gonna say I don't like Magic Man EXE, actually.
That's
like, I don't know... Really?
I actually kind of like him. I like his
My major complaint with him is that he's too much the same color.
You know what?
He's just like a lot of solid blue and like very close to that shades. There's nothing to break up his torso in design.
That is true. That is true.
But here's the reason why. He is dressed... He's basically Disney's Merlin from The Sword and the Stone.
Yeah, like I know. He's like classic
wearing the
wizard
big
robe.
Blue cloak, and he has the wizard hat, and he's got the long beard. If you're wanting to say his Disney's Merlin as a NetNavi, this is pretty much what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
I think maybe if the purple diamonds on the robe were a different color and like stood out more, that would work more for me.
Personally, I think the diamonds shouldn't be there at all. They're like, what are they?
Yeah, that's also.
At most, I could say they're evocative of Diamonds the card suit, but nothing else in his design says that like card tricks play any role in this character.
Like, if I think of classic
if you're evoking
wizard,
a sort of medieval wizard, they're not going to be sort of showing you a deck of cards and saying pick a card, any card.
Celeste has
if I think of like,
sorry, you first.
I was just gonna say, I think that like. If I think of like classic wizard depictions, on the more cartoony end, they often have a lot of like stars and stuff all over their robe, and I think the diamonds might be going for that, which is why I was imagining like if they were a more contrasting color like yellow or something, they might work a little bit better for me if that is what they're going for, but like a more geometric equivalent to that.
So Celeste has the good...
Also,
so sorry, you first.
I don't like his boots. I get they're supposed to be like brown pointed shoes, but the fact that he's got the little light blue sticking out the front evokes to me shoes that have a hole in them and the toes are sticking out.
Oh no! Magic Man, fix your shoes.
Yeah.
So Celeste has the point of Magic Man EXE looks fine in a vacuum. But compared to Magic Man Classic, he's a massive downgrade. And
Celeste is great in a vacuum, actually.
Well,
And I personally don't agree with that. Like, I've been defending his design, but that's only because I don't quite agree with Robin's opinion.
and that's
But
totally
I still
fine.
don't think it's. I think it's fine. I just don't love it.
Yeah.
I like the classic one a lot more
The
personally.
classic
and-
one is the
That's-
classic one. I'd put at the very least high B.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I'm not. I just don't like the way the colors are used in EXE. I just don't like. If you narrow your eyes and look at this like all blurry, like there's just not a lot to like break it up.
Yeah.
That's my main gripe with it.
So where are we putting Magic Man?
I think he's C. I think he's fine, but I don't think it's anything great.
I think low C is probably acceptable.
That makes sense, yeah. Also, how do you feel about it, QWERTY?
General agreement.
Okay.
With the one note that, like, the Magic Man EXE design would... The classic design would not work with the mechanics of the EXE, but I mean, of course, if they had gone with something closer to the classic design, they'd have done something different.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
way Magic Man EXE works is that he doesn't move, if I recall. He shoots a little fire down the row, and he summons viruses to fight you.
Yeah, he's a summoner, and that wouldn't work with the Stage Magician.
Yeah. I mean, it could.
I
being
know.
a
I think
summoner
that
is
stage
interesting.
magicians have a lot of. And there was someone in this box all along.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and they pull stuff out of their hat and all that.
That could
Stage
actually work.
Magician Summoner does work pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
So, it is now time to go to the optional
I
bosses.
feel like the usual way to go for Stage Magician combatant would be, like, they throw cards and doves at you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that is what Magic Man Classic
I
does.
mean,
He
yeah,
throws
but like,
cards.
think about Yu-Gi-Oh, because that's why we're all here, really, to find excuses to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh.
I would,
This is like Dark Magician's. Sorry, not Dark Magician. It's like the Magical Hats trap card.
Yeah.
I would like to
You
add
could
to
see
the
that
consideration.
being in, Mega Man Battle Network. There's some giant hats, and you shoot them, and then one of them has a virus inside.
There is literally a bunny virus. There is a virus perfect for pulling out of a hat. That is
Yeah,
my
that's
contribution to this.
So, on to the optional bosses. Time for Shark Man.
Magic Man pulls a rabbit out of his hat. The rabbit spits lightning at you.
Yeah.
So, Shark Man does not have a comparison. How do we feel about
Objection!
Shark? Well, first off, I'm doing a bit, Robin. So, how do we feel
Okay.
about Shark Man? How do we feel about Shark Man?
He's a shark. He's a man. He's Shark Man.
I'm
They
a,
did better with very similar ideas later, I feel.
yeah.
He
I-
I
doesn't.
don't remember that, but I believe it because I feel like this design is okay.
I like him, but I also like cartoon sharks. A fun detail is that his boots have little shark fins at the back.
Yeah, and they've got
Yeah,
like
that's
the little
cute.
like they've got like the little stripy pattern that's sort of like gills maybe.
Yeah.
That's also sort of on his
Little
torso.
stars.
Like, we haven't seen them yet in the series, but Beastman in Free did animal better. Like,
Yeah.
what are these arms supposed to be for a shark?
They're fins.
Yeah,
Why
the
does it
art-
have gigantic
They're
hands?
fins.
The giant fin hands are a little bit odd. This guy feels like he's veering into the territory of doesn't seem as much like a net nabby in some
Yeah.
ways.
Iceman in 6 did underwater better.
Yeah.
I feel
Also
like he.
Toadman in
I feel
2.
like he does net nappy fine. I feel like his shoulder pads also evoke shark fins in a way that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
Oh,
all
he's
in
also
all,
got
this
like a.
time's fine.
He's got
I'll
like
put him
a.
in C.
He might have like a backpack thing going on
He does-
behind
he
I
his
think
shoulder.
those are
He
probably
does.
like
He has
water tanks or
Water
jets or
tank,
something.
yeah, like a water
Mhm.
water tank. And
Yeah.
so hold on a second. Hold on. I noticed something very small right up here. Let's zoom in a bit. And look, it's Sharkman from Mega Man 3 on the PC garbage box or whatever the fuck it is.
That's a good bit.
PC
Okay.
garbage box.
Technically, this NetNavi does have a comparison. So how do we compare it
Technically.
to Sharkman for the PC garbage box?
Well, you were saying earlier that you think that there's like a strong sort of sense of in Battle Network of tokusatsu.
Yes.
This is tokusatsu.
Yeah,
That's true.
This is tokusatsu as fuck. This is true.
This is a man in a shark costume.
Yeah.
So clearly, this one should be a net navi over the Sharkman that we got.
No.
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 There is also Metal Shark Player, Celeste mentioned. Metal Shark Player is, I think, a lot better than either of these.
Metal
personally.
Shark Player is one of my favorite Mavericks.
Yeah.
Just like design wise. So jokes aside, Sharkman is.
Can we zoom back out to look at EXE a little bit more?
Yeah. Here we go. So
Um,
Sharkman is a good design, I personally think, but it seems like no one else is like super big on it.
I'm not super enthused by it. I wouldn't mind it being in B, but I feel like I don't know. You've already given Numberman too much love and Colorman too little, so this tier list has no value whatsoever in
I'd say high
a
C
scientific
maybe.
journal.
Like
Yeah.
I'd say like I like the use of color. I like his net naviness is a little bit obscured by his pose, I think, because
yeah.
like you can't see his full torso
Yeah.
like super clearly.
Unfortunately,
but he
this
does.
is like the only art of him.
Yeah, he does seem like he's mostly a net. It's something about the shark face that just feels a little bit like something. It's from something else to me.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the fin hands being that huge and floppy is kind of silly.
The face does look exactly like the Hisami Majik. You're correct.
Not really.
Yeah, that one's more girly. This is a modern manga reference. Anyway.
Yeah, it looks.
C for shark. That works.
It just looks like something
mean,
else to me.
Celeste. That's mean calling it street sharks.
It does
Yeah,
look like a
so-
street shark. Oh my god. It
Street
does.
sharks,
Celeste-
they are way more sort of lumpy and ugly.
Yeah.
This guy is smooth and
So-
clean.
Celeste even
Like all
said this looked like
sharks.
a Street Sharks reject.
Like all sharks.
Earlier.
It is smooth. That is true. So, next optional boss. Skullman. Hey, I think this is perfect, personally. That looks like bones. I feel like nobody else likes
I
Skullman.
forgot
waiting.
about his face. I like his giant grin.
His
It's so
giant
funny.
grin and teeth is so funny. It is-
Okay, no, I know who this is. This isn't Skullman.exe. This is Papyrus.exe.
That's it. That is Papyrus.
It is!
Yeah,
It
it's
is-
Papyrus.
It is Papyrus.
I haven't done this voice in like 15 years or something.
But
yeah.
Skullman normal for classic sure is squat and blue.
He's a man with a skull costume.
Yeah,
But
Skullman is one of my least favorite classic designs because he is just a man with a skull themed outfit.
Skullman EXE got his shoulder pad from City of Heroes character creation.
So how do we feel about Skullman's design? As
I think there's a lot to like here. I
Yeah.
like how much it invokes a skeletal figure while actually having very
sorry,
few bone elements.
Skeletal. Like, you get the idea.
I've never heard anybody say it that way before.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
I'm just like, that's fine. But yeah,
Anyway,
I
anyway.
agree with that so far.
Yes, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I really like how, if you look at sort of what bones are on him, it's mostly just things evocative of skulls. Even his shadow boots have skull.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
His eyes.
And
Like
so,
the-
but, like, just the shaping of his limbs, the way his hips have those like raised areas on the side, making it look like a sort of protruding pelvis.
Yeah, like
All of
both
it just
the,
feels so skeletal.
Yeah, both like the orange parts of the limbs are very evocative of bones, but also like the dark gray or black parts of the limbs, like they're even those aren't like perfectly straight. They're a little bit like bone shaped, and like he's definitely got like the bolts on his hips are very like pelvis like and all that, and like he's got a funny long neck that I don't know is necessarily like it adds to everything, and I like the distribution of color and whatnot.
Yeah. The only part of him that doesn't really look like a skeleton is the exaggerated spinal cord protrusions.
Yeah. I love his goofy grin.
I also
so much.
love his goofy
but
grin.
What are the like spikes? Is that like his other shoulder? Does he have like a spiky other shoulder?
No, that's just on his neck.
Oh, that's on his
that's
neck.
like the back of his spine disc segments.
I also like his hunched posture and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, he looks like he's wearing slippers, which is funny
That is pretty good.
as well.
So,
You say that, and I can see where you're coming from, but I just cannot see them as anything other than Shadow's boots.
yeah, they do
Oh.
kind of look like Shadow's shoes, don't they? Huh. So, here's the thing.
Yeah, they do.
Maria.exe.
One of the things that people say as a pejorative to Battle Network designs is that they look freeze dried, or like
Freeze-dried?
or shrink wrapped.
Really?
Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
that.
and
Eh.
I feel like Skullman here is the best example of that, but like it works so well.
I think Skullman EXE is probably my favorite so far.
Okay.
I forgot about this man, but I love him.
I don't. He's not my favorite. I definitely prefer Electman over this guy.
Yeah.
Part of it for me is the color scheme doesn't do it for me. The
No.
orange I don't love.
That's fair. That's a fair
And
point.
also, like I said, those shoes, I can't look at them and not think Shadow the Hedgehog. And the choice of red as an accent color is part of why that
Yeah.
happens for me. So
Yeah, I'm
I don't know what I'd
noticing
change.
also like
it
under
just-
the.
it-
Sorry,
yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say like under the shoulder pad you can see little like other like holes in his torso or something. So he's got like
Yeah, that's a
secretly
rib
he's
cage.
got like a rib cage type thing going on
Yeah,
too.
his
It's just
torso's a
obscured.
rib cage.
Yeah.
So, where are we putting Skullman?
The reason I like this guy more than Electman is because I like a goofy guy.
Yeah. And he is
Goofy guy funny.
He is
He
a
funny. Haha.
He is
Yeah.
he is very
Solve
very
my
papyrus.
crossword, Mega Man.
I had the exact thought when I was putting this together. It's like, oh my god, this is Papyrus.
Yeah.
So where do we put Skullman?
I'd put him in A.
In the interest of compromise, I think he's probably close to Electman.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I
the
don't
exact
know
same
what it
thing.
will be. What'll an S tier will be at this point.
We'll know when we get to him.
I
So
feel like there are designs in Battle Network series that I just love.
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that there's something
So
there that above Electman and Gutsman.
our next one is the last
Wait,
of the.
Qwerty, did you have anything to
Oh
say?
yeah, Qwerty?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Okay, I thought you said. Yeah, I think I heard you go like, So
So
Yeah, but
Sorry,
that
then.
would be like a shrug.
okay,
fair enough.
no problem.
Fair enough.
So our next one is the last of the optional bosses that are good guys.
Oh, Celeste said like blue and dark purple.
Blue and
for
dark purple
Skull
would work
EXE.
very
That
well
would be
for that.
that would
Yeah.
be nice. I think.
Yeah. So here's Woodman.
What if Gutsman was worse?
Yeah. Yeah. So
He's a coconut.
So, one thing I do like about Woodman's design is that he has some kind of, like, monitoring system on his chest here.
Oh yeah.
And I like that his symbol is the rings of a tree.
Like stylized as a spiral.
Yes. So, in the original test demos for Battle Network 1, Woodman was the first boss and only boss, and he was, like, a weather, not a weather, but like a plant control robot that was malfunctioning and causing damage to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to make him an optional boss.
This sort of lip shape in a character design is always not great.
Yeah.
I have a confession to say about Woodman EXE.
Mm-hmm.
He's not your
hate
favorite,
this.
is
I
he?
fucking hate this.
I don't know if that's really a confession.
I very much dislike Woodman.
Yeah, this guy bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not one I've ever had a fondness for.
It is kind of one detail I'm noticing that is kind of funny. Like, he doesn't have individual fingers. He's got like blocky Lego mitten hands.
Yeah, which is why I use the classic art for Woodman, because that it looks like the hands for that Eiji Inafune drew.
There was some extremely specific brand of like Lego Duplo Connects adjacent sort of like blocks that had the shape of his feet, and it looks like two of those stuck together. But I don't remember the name of those.
God, it does.
Some of them glowed in the dark.
I don't know what they are either. Dang.
EXE Woodman looks like you stuck a robot in a tree.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
It is not the first. It is not the last time the Battle Network
Mega
series
Blocks.
will do exactly this.
Sad but true. So, where are we putting Woodman? Because I would be comfortable.
Personally, there's not one element of his design that I like.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Mega Blocks, but that is another. There's a Halo Mega Blocks set.
So
that's quite funny.
I would be comfortable putting him in D rank.
Yeah, this guy is the lowest rank.
Woodman has always been my least favorite Net Navi, I feel, which is...
We can make an additional tier below D if you want to.
No, I don't think we should do that.
Fair.
Unless we get to a design that's really bad, which...
I feel like this is the worst design so far, though.
Very much. Now it's time for the so in Mega Man Battle Network 1's post game, there is 3 bosses, and they are Shadow Man, Bass, and one other guy. And we're gonna run into... We've already done Bass, and we're gonna run into Shadow Man. So let's go over the other guy. It's Pharaoh Man. I really like Pharaoh Man's design personally. I like that he evokes the hand cross pose that Pharaoh Man is always shown in. And I really like that he is a living sarcophagus. I think that's clever.
You can't trade this guy on the Pokemon Network. His name gets you banned.
But I do understand why the initial impression on Pharaoh Man here might be especially because Pharaoh Man Classic is one of the better designs, I think, in Classic series.
Yeah, I do like Classic Pharaoh Man.
So how do we feel about Pharaoh Man?
He feels like a chess piece.
Yeah,
he does.
I know. Anytime there's like a sentient creature who has no points of articulation, I feel bad for them.
If it helps, his arms can rotate.
I know his arms move freely, but like, he can't sit down, Zodi.
he's always sitting down. He's got like a base.
Caveat: he's always sitting down.
Alternatively, he's always
later.
on his
Base is a later fight.
Anyway, what were you gonna say, Isa? Isa?
What?
I thought you were gonna
He's
say
always
something.
on his feet. So
Okay.
I know
His foot.
it makes me feel bad for him.
That's
Sorry.
fair. That's fair.
Celeste's
But
point
also
of
just-
like he looks like a regular enemy you'd encounter all the time, or like if you told her
He
that
does.
she'd believe you.
That
he
is
does.
true.
He looks like a basic enemy with just perhaps like a more of a mini boss version of a
Yeah.
basic enemy.
Yeah.
Got a
There
bit
is-
too much
there's at
detail
least
to
one-
be like a standard virus, maybe.
There's at
but
least one virus that is kind of like this, right?
I-
Somewhere.
yeah,
The Dominers kind of look like him.
Yeah, I was thinking of that, but that's not I think there's another one later.
I think also, like, as a character designed to look like a sarcophagus, he doesn't look much like a sarcophagus.
Yeah, it's
Why
more
does
of
he
a
have a-
You
statue.
couldn't fit a body in there. Not unless you really squeeze them in. And they wouldn't come out looking the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why does he have a fin on his back?
I believe those are meant to be wings.
Well, I can only see one of them, so it looks more like a fin from here. And
Let me-
why wings then?
Let me just check his concept art here. Yeah, those are meant to be wings. I don't know why. I like that his symbol is the Wadjet eye, but like made to look kind of like simpler. I think that's nice. The way he
I
fights
feel like-
is that he summons coffins.
I'm a little unsure about the use of color in this design as well. I feel like there's a little bit... They're trying to like mix too many colors
Yeah,
in a weird way in this one, maybe?
yeah. He is. I like, to a degree, what they're doing here, but it's not great.
Yeah, I don't love it.
What they should do
I think
for him is
Okay.
You first, Lisa.
my opinion here is that... Well, okay, I'll give you instead my opinion on Pokemon design. There are a lot of Pokemon designs that I don't love, but I feel adds to the overall feel of the Pokemon world or the Pokemon region. And I can appreciate them for that. Like, maybe I don't love Vanillux, especially. But I think there's some neat stuff going on, and I think as part of, like, a large sort of environment of Pokemon, it adds something that other Pokemon don't.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ferroman here adds something to the feel of the roster. Like, a distinctive design. A design that's functional in the way that it relates to his battle mechanic.
Yeah.
I think those... It's a bit more variety. I think those things are neat. But as its own design, I have no love for it. I don't hate it, but I just... It doesn't produce any passion in me.
It's good because it contrasts with the rest of the cast. That makes sense. But otherwise is on its own not great.
I feel like, according to how I think about tier lists now, that makes it a solid C.
Agreed.
Because C is like, does what it needs to do for me a lot of the time.
Very
that
agreed
would
on
be a
that.
C for me too.
Yeah. And with that, we're done Battle Network 1. Now the good news is Battle Network 2 has much less Navis in it, honestly. So
I mean, some of this is that most half the navies we looked at are in the whole series.
that's true. That's true.
Right, Battle
Yeah.
Network 1 had a lot of extra because it included all of the navies that are going to reappear in every game.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me.
I will be right back, also.
That reminds me, a thing about Skullman, Sharkman, and Woodman is that, for whatever reason, the anime loved those three so much that they made their net operators a Super Sentai team that would be very recurring for most of the series.
Oh yeah, he'd just sort of show up
Yeah.
and insist on not being the local fishmonger.
Yes. The local fishmonger, the local environmentalist, and an antique shop owner.
And he'd just show up. And what, fish? No, I hate fish. No one said anything about fish, but he is insisting very hard that he's not him.
Okay. Should we continue with Battle Network 2? Or should we wait for Robin to get back?
Robin has to come back.
Okay, we will wait.
I wasn't expecting this to take as long as it has.
Likewise, honestly. But I mean, that's how things go sometimes. And I've been enjoying this.
I haven't. This has been a trial.
What?
I've had to endure so much slander towards Poor Color Man.
No, I like Color Man.
Everyone hates Color Man. It's so unfair. Honestly, I don't even care that much about Color Man.
I know.
Like, I'd have put him at B at most, and that's mostly because, like,
Color Man
his
is
type of design
as
doesn't
the
thrill me, but I
precedent
think there's
for
some...
someone who turns up late. Sorry.
So, Yiza, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, Color Man's type of design isn't my sort of thing. In a lot of ways, I'm not big on clowns. I don't like that he's showing off the soles of his feet at me all the time. But I think there's a lot of interesting design elements that I can appreciate on a sort of intellectual level.
Yeah. And what were you saying, Cordy?
Color Man is like a prototype of someone who shows up in 6.
Yes. Another example... We'll get to there when we get to there, but that's another example of... The series has like 2 or 3 clown robots, and Battle Network as a series has used none of them, despite making clowns.
Zodi,
Yes?
you should put Glide at the top of B, and we'll just not mention it. And if Robin sort of says anything, we'll say, "Oh, well, we just reconsidered. We thought better of it."
That would be very funny, but I can't do that.
No.
I cannot legally do that. So while we're waiting, here's the Mega Man Battle Network logo versus the Mega Man logo.
Italics.
Italics!
Or at least, like, slanted letters.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm back to see Italics.
Welcome back.
Hi, Robin. I love you.
I love you too.
Heck yeah. But yes, we are now going to Mega Man Battles Network 2. And with that will be our first boss. Fittingly,
You played, you played Network Transmission, right?
we did not play Network Transmission on stream. I've played it.
I could have sworn, did you do a Let's Play of it or something?
No. We
could've sworn
explicitly discussed at some point, should I do 2 next or should I do Network Transmission next? And you basically took me by the shoulders and was like, don't play Network Transmission. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
I will do it to myself though. I gotta, if only because some of the designs from that are actually really good and I like them.
The
Yeah,
music
but the
is
game
neat.
isn't.
Yeah, the game's bad. And also at some point we have to play the phone games.
You say a lot of "I have to do this" type of things when you really don't.
Okay, in the case of the phone games, I've wanted to play those for since
That's
ever.
fair. But I'm just saying, you keep
Yeah.
going, I have to do this, I have to play this terrible video game, or stuff like that sometimes.
You don't
As if you have a
understand,
witch's curse.
You don't understand, Your Honor. I had to do
Magical curse of you have to play video game.
Yeah, you have to play mediocre to bad video game.
Yeah. So going on to the next to Mega Man Battle Network 2, we of course open with a boss from Mega Man 2, and that's Airman.
Can you defeat him in this one?
Yes, he's in fact quite easy.
Well,
So here's the thing about Airman. I feel like if you knew somebody who didn't know Mega Man and showed them Airman EXE and said that this is Airman from Mega Man 2, they would just kind of believe you.
yeah,
This is just exactly the same design, pretty much.
they look so much like the same person.
He looks better.
He does
He
look
looks better in a similar way to Gutsman looking better. Like, it's the same design, but you polished it up a bit and you added some nice greebling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Literally polished. He's way shinier.
Yeah. According to the art book, and I did not look at all of the art book stuff because I only have access to the wiki, and QWERTY has the actual art book, and I want to like take an evening to just sit down and read all of it. According to the art book, they specifically based Airman EXE's design on a modern American fan technology that existed. But I don't know
I've
what
never
it is.
seen a fan that looks like this.
He looks more like some sort of jet turbine.
Yeah.
Whereas
He does
the
also
original...
have little
Sorry.
fins or wings on his gauntlets. And I am wondering, those weird sort of orange bits on the bottom of his feet, might those be jets too?
I think so. I think those are meant to
That
be
would make
jets.
a lot of sense, yeah.
So I think he... Also, the way his head is sort of ducked into his body a bit, it's sort of sunk in. It is evocative of the original design, but I also find it's evocative of, like, the way that a plane's cockpit sticks out ever so slightly
Yeah, a little bit.
to
Yeah.
minimize wind resistance.
Or like how if you had like a funny little cartoon plane, the pilot's head would be poking out.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
I also like this.
Me
This is a good design.
He's not like super fancy, elaborate, amazing wow, but he's really good. I like him.
I would say...
This is...
You first, Giza.
I'd say that this design is one that doesn't have any flaws. It's extremely functional in that it hits all the points you'd want it to. It's not deficient in any way. I also don't think it stands out in any particular way. I'd say it's a solid B.
I would agree.
Yeah.
How do you feel,
B's fair.
Cordy?
He's solid.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's improved in the same way as Gutsman, but not to the same extent as Gutsman.
Yes. I would
Well, if
definitely
he's
agree with
solid and not a gas, he's clearly not Airman. What is this?
that. Oh my
What's the
goodness.
deal with
Oh
Airman's
my-
food? Question mark.
Okay,
I'm putting my head in my hands at my own nonsense, just so you
I
know.
can't look at Airman anymore. We have to look at Quickman. Here's Quickman. Hey, second verse, same as the first. This is Quickman if you drew him with 100% power.
Yeah, this is extremely the same like general idea as the previous design.
His mouth is on sideways.
Yeah. A
Yeah,
little bit.
they do a lot of that smirk.
Yeah.
They did no, but that doesn't look like a smirk. That just looks like you attached his face sideways.
Yeah,
Whoever was assembling Quickman, the skin-looking part of the face was just attached wrong.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So
this Quickman design looks like classic Quickman in a manga.
yes.
Like this feels very like Mega Man, like the manga that exists of Mega Man. Like this feels like a manga update of Quickman somehow.
This would be the Archie Comics Quickman.
It feels to me like if
Wait, hold on. Quickman
Yeah.
is literally in Megamix.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
They actually make
And-
him in Megamix very bulky for some reason.
And he kind of looks like his Net Navi design, actually.
Kinda, yeah. I thought they gave him like a big torso. Anyway, what were you saying, Giza? I'm sorry.
he looks to me like if you took DC Comics The Flash, reimagined him as an anime character.
Yeah,
Yeah, that too.
that feels correct for Quickman, though.
I mean, it does. That's the thing. His deal is he's quick. He's got that sort of extremely sleek.
Uh-huh.
You can see him moving very fast, and of course, they've done that cool thing where they've like taken the sort of pointy V sort of thing and added evocative blades on his arms so he can slash you as he's running past it.
Yeah.
I think this design very well conveys the sort of character he is, the way you can expect him to fight.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very much like what Quickman would look like as a Net Navi.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think like the pose and expression and stuff of this particular art conveys Quickman very well as
Yeah.
well.
Also,
I do really like the switch from boomerang to like arm blade. That's cool.
He still throws boomerangs, is the thing.
Well,
They're
yeah,
just-
the addition.
They're just cooler. They're just cooler now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I do agree with Celeste that classic Quickman's arm buster does very much look like he's got one of those fucking McDonald toys that you put in a disc and press a button and it shoots the disc out.
Oh yeah.
I've been
like-
thinking about this whole time.
That gets like maybe 2 inches of distance because they can't
Mhm.
make those too strong. Otherwise, kids will literally kill themselves with it.
I think like what they did with the V on his torso is pretty neat. I think
Yeah.
like the changing of his little ear things to be like a slightly different gray, and then like adding the belt to break up the design a bit instead of having the yellow band in the middle, and like add a little variety is really neat. And, like the addition of the change in like the arms to like match the legs, and like then like the golden cuffs and blades and all that. It looks really nice.
Yeah. Is this
Also,
our...
that belt buckle sort of element is extremely tokusatsu to me.
Yeah, this
He's a
guy...
Kamen Rider
This
execution
guy
of
is a
that.
Kamen Rider. Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it's also his logo. Like, his Net Navi symbol is the belt buckle.
Yeah.
So where do we put him? Because I'm thinking A.
Like he's in the same sort of territory as like Airman in the sense that he does everything he needs to do and he does it really well, but he's not like, he might not be like a super standout, like super exceptional design, arguably, but I like him more than the Airman one personally.
I would agree.
But I can see the argument that he doesn't really do anything exceptional.
I would agree with that. I feel like you've convinced me.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
I do feel tempted to put him in A also, but
I would say like low A, high B.
definitely one of those.
Okay. How do you feel, Cordy? How do you feel about Quickman?
Quickman's good.
Okay.
Definitely an improvement. Same deal.
Okay. I'm gonna put him above.
When I played Battle Network 2 as a kid,
Yeah.
he stuck in my head much, much more than Airman.
Yeah.
That's a good point in his favor.
That
Oh, I
is-
just noticed also like the stripe down the side of his leg in a different color, like some sort of like athletic.
Yeah, like he's
pants
got
type of
like,
thing.
He's got sweats on.
That's another good like slightly subtle design
I
element.
think he has just enough small details that you overlook, just because they feel like they should be there. And I think that's just a really great amount of sort of subtle character
Yeah.
design that I think pushes him just into A, maybe.
I think I agree with that. He's got enough to elevate
Sorry,
him.
I'm distracted on account of I am simultaneously trying to get health insurance.
Oh,
No
geez,
problem.
good
No
luck.
problem. Good luck. with
I hope
that.
that goes well for you.
Now,
I mean, you know, it is mostly a matter of there's a lot of options
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
and no clarity of which one is.
fingers crossed, love. You got
Yeah.
this.
Good luck.
So, the one thing I don't like about his design, and to be fair, it took me this entire discussion to even notice it. He has, like, weird little black triangle cutout on his boot,
Oh yeah, he does.
and it's like, and it is on both sides of the foot.
That feels like an unnecessary little detail, but it doesn't
Yeah.
really
Oh, no,
detract
I like
from it
it.
that much.
I could see
Like,
it
it's-
as a design thing.
I don't really feel like it's good or bad.
Yeah.
It's just kind of there, and I didn't notice it this whole time either.
Yeah. Now for...
But I feel like if I were the one making this design, I wouldn't have included an additional detail on the boot.
Yeah.
I just
I
wouldn't have
think
thought
that
of.
if his
I just
boots
wouldn't have
were
thought to do
entirely
it.
red, then it would feel out of balance with his arms, which have black on the end of them,
That,
in his vest.
you know,
That's-
that's a good
that's
point.
fair.
That is a good point.
Yeah,
Now-
I think when I say I wouldn't have done it, I just mean I wouldn't have thought to do that.
Yeah. Now, Mega Man Battle Network 1 had Gut, Bomb, Fire, Ice, Elec. It's missing one.
Where's Cutman?
It's missing
Oh.
one of them.
Oh, you're going to Cutman. I thought we were going to do Time.
You know,
Just
actually,
the Oil Man or
actually-
Time Man, I guess.
Actually, I think his name is Clockman, but the Star Force Mega Man Battle Network crossover did introduce a new NetNavi to Mega Man Battle Network 1, and I forgot to put it on this.
Fun.
So I'll do that for the next time we do this. But yeah, no, it's time for everybody's favorite friend, Cutman. Everybody's favorite friend, Cutman.
Zodi.
Yes.
Zodi,
They
before
haven't
we
changed
start,
him.
Yes, Isa. Yes, Isa.
Zodi, I have some lovely news for you.
What?
The Mega Man powered up Robot Master who has like a clock theme. It turns out his name is Time Man.
Yeah.
Which is the thing I said.
Yes, but
Didn't you tell me you thought it was Clockman?
no, the guy in Battle Network cross Star Force, I think, is called Clockman.
Oh, I thought I got to be mean to you.
No.
Never.
Anyway, Cutman! Look at his boy! Look at how grumpy he looks! He's got the little...
He's just
little...
He's got... Somehow he's got the most little guy energy.
He does!
Like, of
Do you
all,
know why he's
even
grumpy?
more than, like, the weird baby.
What was that, Isa?
Do you know why he's grumpy? Do you know why he looks a little upset?
Because he's a ninja?
What? No.
Why is he grumpy, Isa?
You've been reading too much Naruto if you think that's a ninja.
No, he thinks he's a ninja.
Yes.
Yes, he could. Yes.
Okay, so...
The reason why he's all moody is because he's got all those hormones in his system. He's just going through puberty. That's why he's lanky now.
Yeah.
He's not really...
He looks...
I don't feel like he's really that lanky.
He looks a...
He looks smaller somehow. I mean, like, not because
Yeah.
you made the image literally smaller,
Okay,
but, like...
No, he's lanky. So just the proportion, so the size of the original one, so he's a bit smaller,
Okay, I will do that. Let me just...
less tall relative.
Yeah. Mhm. There, their heads are the same size, mostly.
He just
There's
feels
almost
lanky to
no
me.
changes between these two.
Yeah,
There's a lot of subtle differences, like the
Yeah.
exact way that the scissors on the head are. Like, I like that Cutman EXE's like the ears that are meant to evoke like that part of the scissors are more clearly that because of the hole being more visible in them,
yeah.
and like he's missing like his eyes are like different because he doesn't have like the top half of the circle.
He's doing
And-
the scissors thing with hand.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he is. He's doing
Oh,
double
he-
scissors
he-
hand.
He always loses at rock, paper, scissors.
Big thing for me is that his white torso with the bright orange large C on it feels extremely like someone's just wearing it, like he's just wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just looks so much more to me like he is a teenager wearing like his favorite t-shirt with a big C for Cutman on it
Yeah.
over his like red pants and his snazzy new sneakers,
So,
and he's trying to look cool but he's not.
yeah.
mm-hmm.
So, here's something that the anime did that I kind of wish they did in the game at some point is... You know how you were saying that Cutman is baby?
He's a little guy.
Cutman is...
Not quite the same thing as baby, but similar.
Well, in the anime, it's the 5 Cutman brothers. One of them's a girl, though. And I
see.
believe the one that is our Cutman is the one on the right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The left looks like he stapled like those eyebrows onto his face.
Like that one gif of a hand puppet just slamming into a desk.
Yeah.
And then having the stick-on eyebrows on.
Yeah, exactly.
So the anime just decided, hey, there's a squad of Cutmans.
Yes.
Oh, here's something interesting. Sorry, I'm just looking at him on the wiki, and in the trivia section it says that the game was originally going to have all 5 of the in it. So it was actually originally going to be 5 of them, but the rest of them, as it turns out, got cut.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, no, that's not real trivia. I lied. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's all for the purpose of the most terrible joke that Robin couldn't even remotely pretend was.
Okay.
I could tell it was coming.
Okay, so
Of course.
Did you know that
can.
Discord
She
has a
knows me
built-in
too
soundboard,
well.
by the
Stop
way?
knowing me, Robin.
Did you know that Discord has a built-in soundboard?
I did. So, where are we putting Cutman?
He's.
Well, it's a
kind of
perfect
charming.
adaptation. You have 100% accurately adapted this guy.
Yeah.
He's just Cutman, basically.
And you know what? He doesn't look that much unlike a Navi either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
all
the design was already reasonably in that space. You added the extra little collar on the gloves, and the C does not work as a Navi mark. You haven't circled it or made it slightly raised.
No.
anything.
Here's the thing. Look, I've just posted in the Discord, the Twitch chat. This will show you the C. This will show you the mark. I mean, the Navi symbol.
Oh, there is a symbol, like on his back. The C is in a
You're just
circle.
gonna mess with us again?
So,
No, this is a real
the
image.
actual- Yeah, this is the official concept art. He does have a Navi symbol. It's just a little tag on the back of his neck.
Yeah, for me,
Like
he
a
doesn't
t-shirt
read.
tag.
Yeah.
Making it even more that he's just wearing a t-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, if you look at the design here, like the grey parts,
I don't see
the
it.
grey straps on the arms, just make it look even more like they're the end of the sleeves, especially considering that this part around the neck, like, is the collar of the shirt.
You have to zoom in a bit. It looks like this.
Okay, so where is that?
On the concept art, it's like on his back, directly below the gray neck collar thing.
Yeah.
So, it's very small.
So C is for Cutman, yeah?
I feel like this guy's a C, probably. He's like,
Yeah,
he's
I
like
think
the
there's
same guy.
something to be said for him being like a little weird and kind of out of place. He feels extremely underdog, which is appropriate for Cutman.
Yeah.
But also, I don't feel like I can put him higher than.
Yeah.
I feel like he's so similar that aside from the giant C, the majority of differences between classic Cutman and EXE Cutman could be attributed to art style alone.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
100%, yeah. So, Cutman is an apprentice ninja in Mega Man Battle Network 2. Now it's time to look at his boss. Previously a bonus boss in the first game, it's Shadow Man.
Also, I will say that if the game actually did have 5 Cutmen in it, I think his design would be improved just because, like, that's an interesting idea of having, like, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Not like a ton.
So, here's Shadow Man.
That blue net navi again, of all places.
So, how we feel about Shadow Man's design?
Dude rules.
Yeah, this guy's great, actually. I love the way that the feet and the boots are like a robot metallic version that of the ninja tabi.
Tabby boots, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really clever, actually.
It is
And like
fantastic.
he is again a pretty close adaptation, but like in a way that's like more significantly different and interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think he's close at all. The original is just Mega Man, but he's got a shuriken on his head.
I mean, he also
I guess
he also has the chainmail on the chest.
I shouldn't say it's like a close adaptation, but there's like some similar ideas. But like the scarf adds to it. Like the shuriken has a little bit more detail in it. The little like elbow guards and stuff.
This
is just overall
legit.
really good.
I also like that the scarf is not made out of material because, as we've mentioned, the only like real object is Base's cloak.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like Iceman's wool, I guess.
There's sheep viruses that have wool. It's digital wool. It's fine.
Fair enough, I guess.
So
It's the dream material.
So, is this our first S rank?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. He's
I'm-
good. He's a good one.
He's very good. I just don't know if he's so good I put him above A, but at the very least I put him in top of A, so I'm not
Okay.
complaining if he goes in S.
How do
I mean,
you
I'd say
feel?
S, but I also might put Gutsman up there.
That's a fair point.
I can't really find any like things about his design that I would point out that would be like that would detract points exactly. So he's one of those like he does what he needs to do very well, but how much does he stand out? Well, if he stands out, he's a bad ninja, I guess. But you know.
That's true.
Oh no, but he does a lot of standing.
True.
I mean, he floats though. He doesn't actually stand.
Floating is standing on the air.
Yeah, that's true.
Like his notable trait when he reappears in a later game is the ability to stand on things.
Yes.
This is the worst description of it I could possibly give. But it's true.
I do like this design a lot.
His
I don't-
distinguishing trait is that he stands on things. And no one else
don't-
stands on those things.
Yeah.
So
I don't really have a grasp on what makes S tier, I guess. But this guy is at least high A, I think.
I feel like S tier is something where you'll know it when you see it. So here's my take on Shadow Man. When I was a kid, this was my favorite design of NetNavis. I thought this was the
That
coolest...
makes a lot of sense.
I thought this was the coolest thing ever. And if you're familiar with characters that I have created, you'll look at this and you're like, oh, I see.
None of your
Doesn't look
characters
anything like Ray.
immediately come to mind,
It-
but
it's
I
one
do.
that I haven't
yeah.
discussed a lot.
Well, if you look at a character I've never mentioned, you'll get it.
I mentioned them. I've mentioned them before. I mentioned her before.
Okay.
But okay. I think I have cooled a little bit now that I am no longer a teenager. But this is still a very good design. I do think I'm comfortable with Shadow Man being A, though.
So
Yeah,
basically,
no, I think he's the best design we've seen.
yeah.
I think Shadow Man and Gutsman are the top of the list so far.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I might put Quickman above Skullman, but eh.
yeah.
But like
Oh,
Shadow
you
Man and
can't do
Gutsman
that
are the
to
top
our
of the
best
list.
friend Pyrus.
Maybe we push them.
Maybe we put
I think-
Shadow and Guts into S.
I think this is a
Love
pretty
his
good
Victor
top
Bone
5 at
Tussle
least.
in
Yeah,
the
this-
Mega Man
this is-
Sound Fund.
This is an excellent. This is an excellent top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're gonna have to rethink that top 5 because next is Nightman.
Are we?
No.
I've always really liked Nightman's design. I'm sorry.
I think it's
no,
a
sorry,
really.
this one's a D.
What?
Everyone agrees he's a D.
What?
I don't think D. I do really like this like interesting take on Nightman. Like the idea is pretty interesting. I feel like this
Yeah,
art doesn't
I
like.
was joking about the D thing, but he's got some cool things going on, but I don't love him.
Is there better? Okay, so here's a better art of Nightman.
Yeah, I feel like the angle of this art does not properly convey the shape of this man.
Yeah. So here's a better. As soon as I put it into position properly. So here's a better look at
Yeah.
Nightman.
I think that the model sheet for him does him the best judgment in my the best justice in my opinion.
I feel like this art also does not quite convey his shape. It's like it's like the looking up at him angle that doesn't make it clear just how much of a wide cone he is.
Yeah, that's
You know?
true.
I admit part of my disinterest in this guy comes from my not particularly liking this sort of armor style in
No,
the first
that's
place.
fair. That's fair.
he definitely okay. Good things I'm going to say about this fella's design. Very effectively conveys the sense of stoutness, sturdiness, of weight to him. He does feel very resilient and strong. I think that also I really like the way that on one hand he's got his ball and chain, but the other one, his gauntlet, is the same color as the ball and has like knuckles in the same color as the spikes, creating a very sort of symmetry to the design that I think is quite nice.
Yeah, he has a nice symmetrical asymmetry.
So I went to check like images of this guy to like try and look at him from other angles and whatnot, and something that I noticed is even though they're not in the same game, this guy works really well as a companion to Magic Man EXE.
He does!
I think it kind of elevates both of their designs if you put them next to each other.
Huh.
I think so too.
That is interesting.
So it's a little weird that they're not in the same game, but they share several design elements. They've got like the glowy yellow eyes, and stuff like that.
Celeste
and like
has a good point.
Knight and Wizard is a classic pair. And all.
Celeste has a good point of it being a little weird that he doesn't have his shield, and the way the game has him have his shield is that he has the stone body chip, where as long as he's not moving, he's completely grayscale, and all damage does 1 damage to him. Which isn't exactly a shield, but yeah.
So, like, the thing where I feel like Magic Man being paired with this guy would elevate both of them is, like, they're not in the same game, though, so...
Yeah.
It doesn't really work.
Yeah, not really.
But it's still an interesting thought. Also, reminder that the level that Classic Nightman is in is labeled as the capital of science by the game.
This is true.
Don't forget it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking we're levitating down towards C for Nightman.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him above C.
Yeah. I feel like Celeste is right, and like a shield might improve this.
Agreed.
Because like
put him right next to Magic Man. So
the idea of his arms being so imbalanced is like interesting, but like maybe a shield would be cool too.
Yeah. Now, next up we have Magnet Man. How do we feel about Magnet Man?
I think that he looks like a man made of magnet.
Yeah.
I think his headshot, when you sort of have him in dialogue, makes him look way more goofy than he should.
Yeah.
This guy looks like...
His design's pretty neat. I really like the sort of large bands around his arms, at least.
This guy looks like he is a superhero in a piece of media where the idea is that the superhero is actually evil and the underdog villain is the real protagonist.
Specific!
But it's true though.
It is true though. Like, that does make sense.
It's something about like the design of his face and like just the general like body shape maybe that and like the pose and whatnot that conveys this impression to me.
Yeah.
Like this is the villain with good publicity superhero.
So something I didn't mention about the designs in Mega Man is that a lot of them have face masks that cover up the bottom half of their face, but they don't get used in almost anything. Magnet Man does have one that does get used in the chip art for him and in the art from Mega Man Battle Network 2. And I didn't put it in this. Instead, you went for this one.
Interesting.
And I just think it makes him look slightly more menacing. Which I think feeds into the idea that you mentioned of Magnet Man looking like he's a fake good guy.
All in all, though, I feel like he's a bit goofy. His signs distinctive and neat, I guess, but
Here's
I
the
wouldn't-
thing. Like,
I'd put him B at highest.
this applies to the original Magnet Man as well, but think about... Oh, I just noticed his body shape also, but like it's a little bit more obscured. It's also a magnet, but like if this guy's head was a different shape, and I guess like if the body was a little bit different too, even though it's mostly difficult to tell, he wouldn't evoke magnets to me right away.
That is true.
Like there are those smaller like magnets that do look like the bits on his arms and like his boots. Like there are magnets that look like that, but like a lot of him doesn't really say magnet, except for like his head shape and, well, I guess his torso shape. But like, I mean, that is, on the other hand, that is like a large percentage of him.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a really valid point.
I mean, I think the bands around his arms could have so easily just been made like horseshoe magnets, and you could have like a. If you saw around the back of them, there'd be like a space because they're horseshoes. And,
yeah, you could do that.
I think
Like,
that
I'm
would
not-
just do a lot to elevate the design a bit. Or I don't know.
I'm not sure what all the buttons are meant to be, like on his arm bands and like leg bands and like torso area. Those all are they? They're just like buttons, I guess.
I think they're meant to be like galvanic electricity things.
To me, like if I'm looking at this guy and thinking magnets, and I see those, I'm like, are they trying to make them like refrigerator magnets or something? Is this guy like a fridge? Do you just put magnets on him?
Here's one thing that I think they could have done that would have elevated his ranking for me like 2 tiers, and that's just if giant horseshoe magnet that was his torso just had a bunch of random bits of metal stuck to the end of it.
Oh
and
yeah, that
he
would be
just
cool.
like just he couldn't get rid of them because like, well, he could remove them, but then just like every time he goes out, just stuff ends up sticking to him.
Yeah.
I think that would be very funny.
Yeah.
So where are we?
I think if he had a bunch of novelty refrigerator magnets all over him, that would also elevate him.
that would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
So where are we putting Magnet Man?
He's like a C.
Here's the thing.
He works.
I am fine with Magnet Man's design. I think his north-south tackle, where he makes a blue copy of himself and they both slam into you, I think that's a really clever attack for a magnet.
That is
bad guy.
neat. That's not like I didn't know he did that because I'm just looking at his design. I didn't see that part of your playthrough.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like probably like somewhere in C, maybe low B, but like I'm mostly like I don't get what the buttons are, and that's throwing me off
the
for some
buttons
reason.
are weird. The buttons are weird. When I was hearing, listening to you both talk about this, the thought that was going through my head is, wait a second, what's the buttons for?
The buttons are like, from my experience, the buttons feel like if you're designing a character and you see a lot of empty space and you're like, shit, I gotta put shapes here to fill it.
Yeah, that. 100%.
It's shapes time.
Yeah.
Shapes,
Magnet Man,
shapes, and then you get
shapes.
Magnet Man.
Yeah, I think C is perfectly valid for Magnet Man.
C for shapes.
Yes. And now, for the final required NetNavi fight in the game, asterisk.
Please note that this is not how you spell shapes, by the way.
Asterisk. 2 of the optional fights are things that you have to do, but like whatever. We have Freeze Man.
Okay, my take, my immediate vibe, I never really watched this show as a kid, but this is a Ben 10.
I was thinking the same thing. I think someone in the chat said that too when you were at
Yeah,
Freeze Man in the
very
game.
much so.
Yeah.
This is a Ben 10.
This is 1000% like in the bottom tier of the fucking Omnitrix.
I don't remember who said it in the chat, but chat definitely said that too when Freeze Man came out.
Agreed.
I wonder if there's like I have not watched any of that show in an entirely reasonable, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it was like the early ones. Like, I watched it a little bit when it was new, and then I stopped.
I've never seen it. I don't.
So I have no idea. But I assume there's got to be at least one, like, ice-themed guy, right?
There isn't.
There's gotta be.
I don't think so.
There isn't?
I don't believe so.
Uh,
I mean, I'll look it up.
I feel like the only thing that this guy shares with the classic design is that technically parts of him are like crystalline with like different faces, facets, whatever, and that's like it. He doesn't really. He doesn't seem like Freeze Man. He doesn't seem like a Mega Man character.
So,
like,
also, neither of these shapes is particularly a shape that ice comes in.
Yeah,
yeah,
Like,
that's
ice
true.
crystals don't make giant hexagonal spikes.
It
So,
looks like a reused potential design for Jewel Man or something.
yeah, kinda. Which again would be a NetNavi that doesn't exist because the.
I mean the original, not the NetNavi.
Okay.
Do you mean like do you mean like Crystal Man? Jewel Man was a later one.
Yeah, Jewel Man was
9.
I'm just saying it looks like the sort of thing that you'd get for one of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't look icy.
Also, I looked up what the Ben 10 ice alien is, and it's
Celeste posted one.
It's
Absolute
That's
Zero.
that's from a fanfic wiki.
Oh, well,
I don't think this is from the actual show.
I'm not sure.
the actual one is Big Chill, which is a very cool looking moth whose wings fold around it like a cloak. It actually looks really
That's
cool.
more interesting than
Wait.
this.
Yeah, that's way
That's-
better.
Very similar to Frostmoth from Pokemon. It's an ice moth.
Yes.
And though its wings don't make a cloak, it's kind of implied that it's kind of wrapped up a bit like one in its fuzz.
Yeah.
Big Chill. Anyway, fucking Freeze Man's bad, right?
Yeah, he doesn't.
No, I like this design. It doesn't look anything like Freezeman Classic,
Yeah.
but like I also think Freezeman Classic looks like a goddamn mess.
Yeah, he is a mess. That's not wrong.
Freeze Man Classic, like, since he's from Mega Man 7, I wonder if like Mega Man X design was like bleeding into it, because he's got a lot of like the Mega Man X like
Yeah.
Orbs
multicolored stuff to
yeah.
it.
Seven's designs are a little messy because of the overlap with X.
Yeah, I personally don't really like Freeze Man EXE.
Yeah,
I just feel like he doesn't fit in.
I'm not
in
a big
like
fan
any
of his
capacity.
design. I'm not a big fan of his design at all. But
I like it. I like the sleekness of it.
I do like that
I
part.
think the color choices are interesting. I feel like it gives him a sort of ethereal vibe. He feels a bit alien.
Yes.
I do like the color choices.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a Mega Man character at all to me.
Yeah, but like that's kind of why I like it.
Well,
Not
that's fair
saying
too.
that like, oh, I just like Mega Man characters. I just think that we have some characters who break the mold in terms of EXE designs, and this is one that does it while still being humanoid.
Yeah.
And I feel like it has some sort of continuity in the sense of its design with something like Elecman, when we have those sort of slender humanoid ones. I think it just works for me as well.
Yeah.
If it doesn't for you, then fine.
How about bottom of B? How does that sound?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I feel like I would place him lower, but this is not my tier list alone.
Bottom of
Yeah,
B,
this-
top of C is what I was thinking.
Look, so this is your tier list.
I
Like,
know.
just because I'm making a big case for how I like it doesn't mean that it needs to go above C.
But,
I am
like-
I'm saying that you have convinced me with your arguments.
Oh, okay. Take that a little bit.
Robin has also convinced me with her arguments in some of these as well.
I mean, like,
That's the point of this.
I think my personal opinion of Freeze Man EXE would be like mid to low C, but
Okay.
I'm not the only voice in this call, so
Yeah.
you know.
And now onto all of the optional bosses. Starting with the first of the Mr. Famous robots, Gate
Oh, are we
Man.
going to look at the optional post-game bosses that you haven't found yet, or are those going to wait?
I was going to do them today. I was going to show them, actually.
Because we may not actually have much time to do post-game stuff.
Yeah, no, there's not going to be any actual playing of Battle Network 2 today.
I think that's fine. This has been fun, I think.
I
Yeah.
quite enjoyed this. So, Gate Man, the first
If you
Mr.
if you
Famous
removed
Gate Man.
his eyes, he would be a Warframe.
Yeah,
Sorry. If you
All of
remove
the
his eyes,
famous
you what?
Navis are designs from fan submissions, right?
yeah. Well, no, because the next one that he uses is Punk.
Isa, what I said was if you removed his eyes, he would be a Warframe.
Oh, okay.
All of
Just like
sorry.
one of the relatively earlier ones, but like he's got Warframe vibes to me, and I say this as someone who's played like a bajillion hours of Warframe in the last something. I have 320.9 hours in it apparently.
Wild.
But, I like Warframe a lot now,
That's like
so
in
that's
2
my
months.
authoritative statement about. Yeah, I know.
No, that's good. You found something you like.
So Gate Man, is he like based on Gate, or is he just like a guy?
He is just a guy. Something Cordy mentioned is that most of Mr. Famous's net navies are from design your own character contests, as all Mega Man series except for X and Zero have. There were opportunities for people to submit their OC designs, basically, and Gate Man is the first of those to show up in Battle Network.
I was just wondering
I think it's
because
a pretty neat one, honestly.
Yeah.
yeah, I like this design.
Like without the context of the later ones, this is maybe not as clear, right? But it feels. It's an interesting idea, right? It's an interesting base theme.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has a door that he sends soldiers charging out of. That is a more interesting idea, I think, than the later versions of it.
His other net navies are Punk, who is a Mega Man killer and is like a kind of a super bonus boss, except it's just like optional. It's also just very difficult. And then everything after that is sports.
I see Celeste agreed with the Warframe assessment.
Yeah, and he does look like a Warframe.
Yeah.
So where do we put Gate Man?
He's pretty good.
I like him.
I don't have particularly much to say about him, to be honest.
That's fair.
Ooh, I found in the art book the original contest art, and it includes the weird cannon that he's got.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Which is neat, because just like that's a unique cannon design that doesn't show up anywhere else.
Yeah, he just has a cannon. Yeah.
It's a little bit like the tank cannon chip in a couple of the later games. But...
Kind of.
Oh,
Right,
like
that
his
is
chest
very-
opens up into being a cannon. That wasn't clear from the picture.
Yeah, no. Sometimes it's a cannon or some soldiers charge out of it.
Yeah.
Punk is sort of a yo-yo or a ball on a string or something.
Punk is a buzzsaw.
You think?
The original classic design for Punk was that he is a buzzsaw man.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure this one is more yo-yo.
Yeah, Punk is more yo-yo-y.
And then
wonder-
the later ones, let's see.
The Gridman is a football player, and Kendo Man is a kendo player. Kendo guy.
Oh, something about Gate Man that's not super clear from the image on the stream, but is like noticeable from the concept art. Is the stuff on his shoulder? The thing on his shoulder is like a door knocker.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
That's
I
really
like
fun.
that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, 3 didn't give the contest Navi spot to a Mr. Famous Navi. But there were 3 contest Navis in Battle Network 3.
Yes, and we will get to them.
We will get to them. And yeah, no, looking at those in comparison as well, Gate Man still sort of feels like he stands out.
Yeah.
In, like, he's got a coherent design to him that's not just existing stock cliche or existing thing.
Yeah.
Right? The other contests, it's a, yup, chess exists. Yup, genie in a lamp exists. Yup, bowling exists.
Like, not every element of Gateman's design is like, yeah, this is door related, but it doesn't have to be either, I guess.
That's something that the later designs do have a problem with. Like
That,
yeah,
yes,
sometimes
but
that's a problem.
that, like, it's that not everything is about that one gimmick, but also
Right.
that it's a more interesting gimmick than he's literally just a football player.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some another like kind of subtle thing is like he has a line down his entire like head and face, and that's like, you know, double doors and all that. Like that's and like
Have
even
a
his
good one,
little
Celeste.
soldier. See ya. Even his little like soldiers, they have a shield that also has the line down the middle, so they're also like gates.
And he summons a shield that has a big arm inside of it that is also the same shape as the gate on his chest. The Remo gate.
Like the main parts of his design that like don't evoke doors or anything are like his like robot hair kind of thing and his shoes, but I don't really know what his shoes are going for. They kind of like remind me of like some sort of like ancient like sandal type situation.
I was going to say his head and helmet and shoes make him look like a gladiator.
Yeah, he's got gladiator vibes a bit.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to all be door themed, of course. I'm just not entirely sure what those are going for, but they're neat.
I think a Gate Man goes in B. How do we feel about this?
Sure.
I would even I think personally, but I just something about this design works for me.
Yeah, it's a good one. And next we have perhaps the most fascinating example of the. What do you mean this was unique for Battle Network? It's Thunderman. Despite everything, Thunderman has no classic counterpart, despite there being like an electric Navi in half of the games. An electric robot master, rather. So, an immediate first thought for Thunderman is his head's a lightning rod, and he has the floating beat, the drum beats that belong to Raijin.
Yeah, he's got the Raijin stuff going on.
Yeah, so he's an Oni.
And thus, like, the lightning rod is also kind of like a horn.
Yeah. I mentioned with Elecman that I like the segmented coil look on Elecman's hands. I think on Thunderman it makes it look like he's wearing pajamas.
If you got rid of the lightning effect and the lightning symbol on him and told me this was MichelinMan.exe, I would believe you.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm not a big fan of Thunderman's design. I don't like it very much, actually.
I don't really like it either. It's like all the same texture.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of fun. I think it's got there's electrical coils, and he's just kind of a funny guy in this weird
outfit.
The black parts around the edge look like insulation to me.
Oh yeah, they do kinda. I do like that.
There's a lot of
The
interesting
orange sort of warning color and just
like There's
I
interesting
don't think it's a
stuff
particularly
going on here.
great design, but I think it's fun.
There are aspects of it of it that I like as well. Like I said, I like the kind of like Oni design, the Oni elements of it. I think those are good. I might also be a little biased because Thunderman is a very annoying boss.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I don't. There's interesting elements to the design, but I don't love it because,
Yeah.
like I said, it's like there's so much of the same texture.
Yeah.
But also like
in the art book, they've got specific heights for all the characters for all the Navis in one. In quote virtual centimeters.
That's
After that,
fantastic.
they didn't bother with heights.
that's
Yeah.
I
fun.
mean, they had general height comparisons, but not actual measurements.
Yeah.
Stone Man is 4 meters tall.
I don't know
Oh.
how much that is.
Big.
A meter is 3
Uh,
feet, give or take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, looking
Basically
at that
twice the
concept
height
art.
of the
So,
relatively
so
tall.
Stone Man is taller than most ceilings.
Okay.
Oh, he's
He would not fit. He would be a good way up into the second floor of a house.
Looking at that concept art, I have to say I personally like the one of the color variations with the dark blue
Yeah, that
and
one
then
looks
the light
much
blue and the
better.
orange.
Yeah.
I like that color variation more personally.
Yeah.
I prefer the one they went with, but like, I know the sort of
Like the one they went with works more for his theme and like looking like a coil type situation, but yeah.
I just think he's such a funny guy, especially the way he's standing in most of the concept art there.
Yeah.
And just the really long spike on the top of his head. He feels like he treads for me this really weird line between some just kind of goofy weirdo, but also like sort of goofy weirdo who's in a suit that like is potentially just something that's utility, but also is a bit too weird to be just a utility thing, and carries the slight vibe that this guy could be harmless, but also could be up to no good in a really weird, mysterious way, and the sort of lack of expression on his face and no visible mouth gives that kind of slight eerie anonymity to him as well.
Yeah.
I
I know
feel
there's
like
just elements here that I find characterful and fun.
some elements of him, like I think it's like probably like the shine and also like the contrasting dark and light colors give a lot of like the blue and orange parts a vibe of like rubber for insulation,
Yeah.
which also makes sense. And this guy also gives the vibe that he might become very large and fight a kaiju.
True. Yeah.
He's a little Ultraman, a little bit.
So a bit of the maybe low B would make sense.
Yeah, I think I'm warming up to this guy as we talk about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him above like the bottom end of B,
Yeah.
but I feel like I like him a bit too much for C.
Yeah. Next up, we have the second optional, but you are required to fight them as part of the scenario boss, Snake Man. I love Snake Man.
Snake Man's real fun.
I love that his arms are set really backwards because they're coming out of his hood because he's a cobra.
That is
Yeah.
a fun thing.
I love.
I would say that if the operators were at all relevant to this ranking, I would put Snake Man at the bottom because Miss Millions is weird.
I forgot that everything about her for obvious reasons. Terrible character. But Snake
There's
Man.
one thing there's one thing I really dislike about Snake Man, though. Snake.exe.
Oh.
And that's the fucking face.
He's got like 2 sets of teeth.
He's got the snake
He's got, like, the
fangs And
He's got the snake fangs and the regular teeth, but like inset in a weird way where it looks like he's also
Sure,
got
the
lips, but
man
also
had a
not.
snake head and then a regular human face.
Okay,
The
that's true.
snake head, I
Like, they're
think,
both
is
doing
the
that.
helmet.
That's true.
yeah, for Snake Man Classic, it's the helmet. For Snake Man, the EXE, he's kind of got like they are both real, and that's
It's
a little
designed
weird.
like the helmet, but it's attached to a thing that is mostly snake-shaped instead of mostly man-shaped.
Yeah.
So it's strange now that I notice it.
Uh-huh. That is a little weird. Other aspects of his design that I like the very mild Snake Charmer vibe of he hides in a pot.
Mm-hmm.
This
That's-
image should really help understand his whole face situation.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I also hate it.
Valid.
If he had a regular... Okay, here's the thing. It's not even like... This is something you occasionally see on Digimon. But, like, the thing is that this guy isn't a humanoid. I don't know why he has a human face. Or, like,
Yeah.
half a human face.
I will say, I would prefer this if he did not have the human mouth.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think a
I-
lot of
I
Bounce's
do think-
design I like, but that face is just...
Yeah, I think there's interesting elements in the design with how like everything connects, like the joint in between his snake body and his hood is interesting.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
fun.
and like it's interesting that he's got the whole snake charmer thing, and also his pot has like boosters on it for some reason, which is funny. But like the face though, also I love the note on the concept art that just says this is not a duct in a relatively large font.
Yeah, pointing at the
That's
the
just
hood area.
funny to me.
Yeah, that's fun. So
This guy has similar vibes to the Pokemon Tornadus. It's like partially the color scheme and partially the I don't know about this guy sort of thing.
yeah,
I don't know about this
I
guy.
accidentally wrote Thunder Man as Needle Man.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense actually.
When we get
He's-
to network transmission, I'll get to show you what Needle Man looks like, and his design's fantastic.
I think I vaguely remember it. I think I've seen it at some
Yeah.
point.
He's
But yeah.
pointy. He's mostly just pointy.
So I'm
But
sensing,
no less than some.
yeah. So I'm sensing.
Snake Man's weird messed up mouth puts him in D tier.
Really?
I hate to perceive it. I actively dislike this
Okay.
guy's face.
You know what? Fair. I'm gonna put him at the top of D. D for Snake.
His like the inside of his neck hood does look like a washboard though.
It
You
does.
could probably make
It
a music
does.
on that and it'd be funny.
Okay.
Like, genuinely, I like a lot of his design, but I cannot condone that face. I
Yeah.
would perhaps put him C, because I think most of the rest of his design works and and is fun and has good colors and stuff.
My main argument for D is that I actively dislike looking at him now.
Absolutely valid.
Sorry,
Wait,
Robin.
like I don't actively dislike looking at Glide. I just think Glide sucks, kinda.
Yeah, I'll move that around.
He doesn't have to be below Glide. He can be at top of D for like he almost got there.
If he
but,
had
you
a
know,
normal snake face, it would be fine.
Yeah.
So, now that we're done with the snake, it's time for his mortal enemy, the Toad. It's Toadman! I love Toadman. I hate fighting this bastard, but I love Toadman.
He's a good
Toadman EXE is a fun design, yeah.
Yeah.
He's little froggy.
He's just a
They've
little
also
frog.
both got the like face inside of a helmet thing, but it's not weird in this case. Like both
Yeah.
versions of Toadman, but they've also got that whole thing. But
But they also
He's
make
just-
it clear that's artificial. That's not the real eyes.
Yeah.
The real eyes are here. Also,
Also, he's
Like-
humanoid,
Yes.
so
I will also say that classic
he
Toadman.
doesn't have that weird thing of like, why is there a human? For one, is less human.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit there, Iza.
Yeah.
Frog. Yeah, and that's cute.
Yes, frogs are cute.
A lot of that was lost, but I think we got the general idea, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mine's
like
suddenly.
It's okay.
I will also say that I am a classic Toadman appreciator. Probably an underrated guy, but I love that guy.
I like Toadman. So
also, one of the funniest guys to ever exist in Mega Man is Fire Toadman in like Rockman Zover or whatever the heck.
yes.
Very funny to me specifically, at least.
So a small thing about Toadman is that this is technically a redesign of Toadman as we know him in Battle Network 2, because the mouth here is a normal mouth. In Mega Man Battle Network 2, his mouth was more of a robotic, like, U shape, and it had the same, like, aesthetic as the lips of Toadman's helmet visor. And they changed it because Toadman was going to be a real character and not just a bonus boss, so he had to have a bit of an expressive face.
I feel like this guy has the most little guy energy. He's beating out Cutman and little guy.
Yeah, he's so tiny.
Also, I guess that's a false face, at least in part, you said, because the eyes are the yellow discs, right? Is that what you said?
No, the other way around. The yellow discs are obviously not real.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the obviously real one is fake situation.
Oh, no, the obvious real.
There's a bit of a delay on the stream, so.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, I meant the normal eyes.
Well, in that case, I'll also say that he evokes a Servbot with his face.
He does.
Which is a good thing, I think.
So where do we?
I like the way that his funny frog flippers are made out of shapes and stuff.
Yeah, it's so cute. They're like lily pads.
This is a good little guy.
Do we put Toadman in A?
I don't like him that much.
You don't?
No.
Okay. How about B?
B's fine by me.
High B, low A?
I would say high B.
I mean, if you're that shocked that I didn't put him in A, you can put him in A.
No.
Yeah, it is your tier list, ultimately.
I know. I just like getting the feel of the thing, like seeing how the vibes are. Anyway, the final non-important optional boss is Heatman. Okay, next up.
I forgot about Heatman EXE. This guy is having a time.
So controversial opinion. I think.
Hey, that was Napalm Man for a second.
The joke I was going for was, okay, here's Heatman, and then I put him in S rank and said, okay, let's go on, and we moved on but no, we do have to discuss Heatman. Here's my personal hot take on Heatman.
Hot take, I get it.
I genuinely think this is the best design in the entire series.
He's definitely a good one.
I adore Heatman.
I do love this design. I do love the gremlin lighter face going on. Like, they took the idea of what if a guy had a lighter for a body, and then they were like, what if he was a wacky gremlin?
I adore it.
I don't know if I'd say this is my favorite. I don't know personally if I'd put him in S, but he's definitely really high up.
Yeah.
And
so, Heatman is the second Navi from Mr. Match, and we can see immediately how this is a vast improvement on Fireman.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He's got little
classic Heatman's kind of dorky, but like in this case, like dorky is often positive for me, granted.
Agreed.
But like classic Heatman's kind of like, but like EXE Heatman is a fun design, and like I mentioned, like Thunderous or Tornadus or whatever a second ago. I wouldn't be if Heatman EXE was just like if they just like made a Pokemon that looked exactly like this, I wouldn't be entirely shocked by it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be entirely shocked by it because Capcom did that already.
Well, yeah,
But
I mean,
then
like,
again, Pokemon has done that with the two armor guys.
Ceruled
in-
and Armor.
yeah, they have very Mega Man-like Pokemon with those
are
guys.
already extremely Mega Man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
extremely Mega Man Battle Network.
Yeah, but
You know what? Fine. Bring in a lighter as well.
I feel like I feel like there could be a modern Pokemon design that looked like this.
Agreed.
Or similar.
So here's just a minor thing that I like about these designs. First off, Heatman Classic, I didn't notice until I was putting this entire thing together, but the little helmet shape on Heatman Classic is the roller that you would have for the Zippo that you roll your finger on to make it go foosh.
Ah.
Yes, and the direction of the lid means that would be unpleasant for his face.
Yes, it would be. Other things I like about Heatman EXE, the fingers are like little heat nozzles, and his arms have the holes on them like it's a burner, like an oven burner. Not oven burner. What am I talking about? Some kind of burner.
Burner Man was a different one, right?
Yeah, Burner Man will be in 4.
I like how the arms are like wiggly hoses.
I love that
sorta.
his arms are wiggly plastic
They're
rubber
gas
arms.
hoses.
Yeah, they're gas hoses.
Yeah.
I love that his face just looks like this. Look at him.
Yeah, I
It's
think
very good.
you've
He's
sold me
having
on
so
Heatman,
much
I think.
fun.
He's so happy
Yeah.
to be alive.
You've sold me on Heatman, I think. And plus,
Which
this is
interesting, because if I understand correctly, the anime has him be not that at all.
The anime is often quite weird in what it does and doesn't do.
yeah, like ultimately, this is your tier list,
Yeah.
so you have final say on things. But also, I think you've sold.
Oop.
It's pretty good.
Okay, I think Isa.
Isa disconnected.
I think she is gone.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I think it might be like her internet.
Okay,
I don't know.
probably. It was
Unclear.
It was having some problems. Now
He might be
onto
trying to fix it, for all I know.
Okay, now onto the bonus bosses, which there are only
Who
2
we
of.
haven't seen yet.
Yes. So
We haven't seen them in game yet, so this is a spoiler for the next one or more streams.
There she
of
is
the game.
again.
Welcome back, Isa. Yes, this will be a slight spoiler for the future Mega Man Battle Network streams. Our first of the bonus bosses is Napalm Man. I'm gonna be honest, I'm tempted to put him in S because he's another one of my genuine very favorites. But we're gonna have a
issues with
discussion.
him are, one, the name, because he does not have anything to do with napalm. He shoots conventional explosives and bullets.
Yeah, and I mean fire. He
There's
shoots fire
no-
as well.
There's no torturous sticky fire, just
I
bomb.
mean, classic Napalm Man is also that. So
Yeah.
the name was a problem carried over from there, I suppose.
Yeah. Two, the thing on his head, that is not a cannon. That is a sealed tube. That is like a hazard light.
That is the top of a nasal spray bottle.
There's no hole for the projectile to come out of. Now, in his animations, he shoots things out of it anyway, but like there's no. That's not a gun.
Yeah, those are very valid.
That's an emergency vehicle hazard flasher.
Yeah.
This guy looks like he can transform into a vehicle, but he doesn't.
Yes.
I was waiting to say this man looks like a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is very toyetic. I mentioned earlier the idea of like shrink wrapped designs. This is another very good example of like a lot of the Battle Network designs look shrink wrapped versions of the originals.
Like when you take this guy out of the box, you have to take out the shrimp wrap or shrink. I said shrimp wrap, shrink wrap, and then you have to like fluff him up into regular Napalm Man, that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the vibe.
I do get that vibe a little bit, but he definitely looks like a toy that like transforms into a vehicle of some kind.
Yeah. Ironically, he doesn't have the treads like normal Napalm Man.
I feel like that's a downgrade, personally.
I would agree.
The treads
with
are
that.
an interesting factor.
Yeah. So where are we feeling Napalm Man goes?
Honestly, I wouldn't put him above B.
He's fine.
Yeah, like high C, low B
Yeah,
for me.
makes sense. Put him above Shark.
I think if they focused more on the treads and like maybe took some inspiration from one of the forms of Darkman
Yeah, that would be.
and like made him more tank-like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be
This
down to
is
that.
this is not what I would want out of Napalm Man EXE, I guess is one way to put it.
That makes sense. That is a good descriptor for it. I like his colors. I'll say that.
His head looks like a hot glue gun also.
Okay, and finally, we have a unique design for Battle Network 2. We have Planet Man!
Also a theme they returned to more than once, weirdly.
Why?
Is there an Astro Man EXE? Or is this basically Astro Man?
There's no Astro Man. This is the closest.
Do you
we get.
think maybe this is supposed to be equivalent to Astro Man?
I think that would be nice, but I don't think he's meant to be that.
I liked like the abstract like globe type of thing with like something traveling across it, and then like the trail behind the thing is like a band on the design.
Yeah, that's
a
like
cool idea.
That's a space shuttle.
Yeah.
I think one of his attacks just shoots the space shuttle at you.
Yeah, they're fighter
And it's
jets.
tiny because he's the entire planet, and so his space shuttle is tiny.
Yes.
This guy is like this guy is a visual representation of the sound effect from Sonic CD that says "future" in a weird voice.
That's really good. God damn it.
I've made a lot of interesting comparisons and vibe descriptions today,
Yeah.
I'm realizing.
Yeah.
But like the reason I say that is just like the general like shapes and especially like the laser rings around the spire on his shoulders.
Yeah.
That's just like future. That's like classic sci-fi.
yeah.
design
he definitely
element.
has that vibe. It's his face as well. The like
Mhm.
the eyes just scrunched in
Yeah.
inside of like a capsule.
With the
I'm gonna,
hands,
like-
it feels like they were definitely going for something, and I don't have the slightest idea what.
Like I'm gonna like operating on the assumption that this is supposed to be Astro Man or like equivalent to Astro Man in some way. There are also some like similarities there, like Astro Man has the lower part of his body as like a big old orb, and this guy's like made of a globe,
Yeah.
and like the eyes are a little bit similar, and there's like just general
Little bit.
sort of similarities, but like in a more like abstract way. It's not like a very close comparison, but I like there's a lot of interesting details with this guy, I think.
Yeah.
Like the space shuttle, like with the trail behind it being like an element of his torso design is a cool idea, and the abstractness of the globe, but it's like broken up by the lines across it to like make it not just
And the lines
an
are meant to-
overwhelming bit of color.
Yeah, and the lines are meant to like evoke clouds and stuff.
Yeah, that could make sense too.
Planet Man feels like if you took a picture of him at a different point in the day, a lot of his design might look a little different because it feels like the shuttle and his body are just going to always be rotating.
Yeah, I feel like if this guy was represented in animated 3D, his body would be rotating for
Yeah,
sure.
For sure.
I feel like there's definitely something going on with his hands and feet, but I can't tell what they're supposed to look
Yeah,
like.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Feels like there is something they are supposed to evoke, and
I've got.
I guess no, but like the like spacesuits don't have mittens, right? They do have fingered gloves.
They do have fingered gloves.
Yeah,
So
like
it's not that, and I have even less of a clue for the feet and legs.
I feel like the feet and legs are a little bit of like classic sci-fi shapes more than anything else. And the hands look like they could be some sort of weird like coupling or joint on some kind of structure, maybe, but that's like a stretch.
A little.
They're both got a spike thing, but on the hands the spike is the tiny spike is pointing inwards, and on the feet it's pointing out, and I don't know
Oh
what
yeah, that is a little like I feel like the spike.
He also has a spike on his head going down like a neck, but we can't see that.
Interesting.
Because none of his body parts are connected to him. They all just kind of
like,
float in place.
I feel like it's a little weird then that the feet don't have spikes pointing up towards the globe.
Yeah.
Because like the rest of the design is establishing the spikes as like a connection point, even though they're not like literally directly connected.
The shoulders and the head, the spikes are pointing out.
Well, I mean, the
Hands
head.
are the only case where it's in.
The head has a third spike that is down at the neck area, pointing towards the planet.
I feel like if this guy was animated, not only would the center of him be rotating, like his other parts would just like occasionally spin around and rotate in his idle animations as well. I think.
He does show up in the anime.
He would be fun to look at in a 3D video game environment.
Yeah. Something I do... I think what his legs are meant to evoke... Hold on, the music has stopped again. I think what his legs are meant to evoke are, like, globe markers. Little things that you would, like, poke into a globe to be like, we're going to New Hampshire! Smash!
I don't think you typically put, like, thumbtacks or pins into, like,
New Hampshire? Why New Hampshire?
I don't know! And yeah, you normally don't do that, Robin.
Like, you do that for a map, but not like a globe.
I know a series that does it with a globe, but yeah, you're right. So where are we putting Planet Man?
He's alright.
He's alright, yeah.
I like
The
this
little
guy.
red
He's
patch on the feet especially looks like a like where you'd put a how a spacecraft would have a country's flag on it or something.
Yeah. Hello, Manzai Man. Weird.
He does have like a general like spacecraft kind of vibe as well.
Yeah.
But like, I like this guy. He's pretty creative and like. I guess the only thing I could say critical of him is like some of his design is we need more shapes again a little bit.
Manzai Man, we haven't played post game yet. The plan was to do a tier list rating and comparison of all of the net navies to their classic designs, and then play post game. And then 4 hours pass, and we just finished doing the rating. So there's not going to be any playing of the game today. But we're having fun rating and tiering these guys. So where do we put Planet Man?
I would go so far as to put this guy in like somewhere in like A even personally, just because I think he's fun to look at and like think about.
How do you feel, Cordy?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. A.
Okay. And
he's all right.
I don't know what the plot is for post game, so I'm excited to see what it is next Sunday.
Yeah, we're just thinking more about the designs in particular today.
Let's put him in A then. So yeah, we have finished all of the Robot Masters and
Navis.
Not net Navis, and we have a tiered list.
This is Battle Networks 1 and 2?
Yeah, for Battle Networks 1 and 2. That's all of them, except for looking at the normal Navi, the NPC equivalents, and comparing the final bosses, because it makes sense to do those. We'll do that next time. He does look like a museum mascot. That's actually a very good observation, Manzai.
Yeah, he kind of does. He does have that sort of vibe too. I will just toss out one additional suggestion for if we revisit this idea in the future. Is like either as like a separate thing, like a side thing, or like if it's relevant, we can include it. Maybe include like the boss like soul forms or whatever, where Mega Man fuses with them and has a cool costume.
Those are things that I will
until later.
Yeah, those are things that I will bring up when we get to them in 4.
Yeah, like
I realize at this point you could look at the styles.
Yeah, I realize those are a bit later. I just wanted to
looking at the styles. That's a good one as well, actually.
I just wanted to toss that out there.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. That is something that I will keep in mind.
Because, like, for example, when I was looking at Nightman earlier, I noticed art of the Nightman Mega Man form, and that's pretty neat, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, we've done that. We've done all of this. Wow. That took a lot longer than I expected. But I hope thank you very much for guesting with me, my wonderful friends.
It was fun.
And thank you, people in chat, for watching along and contributing as well. Thank you very much. I quite appreciate it. Next Thursday will be more Children of Zodi arcs. And then next Sunday, we will be going into post-game for Mega Man Battle Network 2. And by going into post-game, I mean we will be doing the board missions and the license exams, because we need to do those. But yeah, thank you all very much. I am now going to find if there is anybody streaming to raid over to. Let's see. Ooh.
Manzaiman just became Ray's friend. Thanks for the follow.
Thank you for the follow, Manzaiman. I quite appreciate that. And let's Karma is doing some streaming of UFO 50, so let's go say hi to Karma. As soon as the button allows me to press the button. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I hope to see you all next time. Take care, everybody.
Farewell.
Bye.
I pressed the raid button.
Hooray.
Yay.
Yay! And I pressed the stop.